I'm getting all these messages about,
It's
and
kind
what
of
exactly I didn't want to talk about because I don't know
it's
what's wrong with these people.
it's like insult to injury. So
Yeah,
did you
I
know what
don't
happened?
they're, like, apologizing for identifying the road crash victim early, is that one?
Yeah, so like actually this person, we can't confirm it was this person or we weren't allowed to say it or something. But they'd already released it. And then all the other news organizations, including yourself, released the photo and the name. And then they came out and said, so what happened there?
Honestly, Blake, it is an unbelievable situation.
What do
On
you
the
mean?
one hand, you're trying to be respectful of the family. And on the other hand, things that are happening in this situation have never happened in any other case that I've heard about and are just really bizarre and making people look really weird. And so it's like, I don't want to talk about it almost because, everybody's going to be like, oh, not everybody, but, certain individuals, oh, she's being disrespectful. But like you said,
Well, you,
now
well, you
is
weren't. Yesterday on our show,
You wouldn't say
I
the
I
name.
actually asked you, do we know who the victim was? You said we do, but we haven't. It hasn't been released yet, so we're not going to say it.
yeah.
Then hours later, it was released by RCIPS officially who the victim was. I got the email, and then after which you posted in your news
Yeah.
sources or whatever you want to call it, platforms, and it was out there. So, and then after that, then they sent out another email and retracted it. So
Mhm.
why did that get retracted?
Well, it got retracted because people contacted the police commissioner, the governor's office, and the deputy governor about it. And
Mm,
I don't understand. I mean, they're saying that she hasn't officially been identified.
okay.
Okay.
So
I
I
thought
don't know what
maybe
that.
she was driving behind
Well,
her.
isn't it wouldn't it be isn't the question why did it get released then by the RCIPS?
I mean,
Right.
it's. I don't understand. I've actually never seen anything like this. I mean, there is kind of a procedure that and I know happens. Every single person that dies on this island in a situation like this, outside of like old age and whatever else, they will name within a couple days.
Hmm.
And over the weekend, I said, because I'd reached out for comment, do you guys want to say anything or whatever? And I said, they will name her by Monday. That is standard procedure.
Hmm.
Why is it
Hmm.
why is it any different? I don't know.
Well, it's just a terrible, tragic story
And
anyway.
now, yeah, that the family
Absolutely.
is now dealing with this too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And unfortunately we have to deal with tragedy all the time. Every single family that has lost a loved one, a child, a sibling, has this same degree of tragedy that I'm sure that they go through. Regardless of who they were in life. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has someone that was near and dear to them and that they love. And the police have a procedure.
Hmm.
Now, why someone would say she hasn't been officially identified, I don't know. Are they trying to say it was somebody else in the car?
Mm.
Then, it's really, really bizarre. The whole thing is so unbelievable.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I mean, we'll just wait to hear more then. Any other headlines this morning?
um, yes, I'm sure there are. Right. So the Cubans continue to um,
Arrive.
come in. Yes, they continue to arrive in the Cayman Islands in pretty large numbers, actually. I'm understanding upwards of 30 or 40 came in yesterday alone.
What?
Yes,
Wow.
that will add to the existing number that came in the day before and a couple of days before that. So yes, I know we got a little bit of a break where they weren't coming in, but now it's being sort of upped again in terms of the numbers.
Man, I'm always amazed just
Um,
how good they are at hitting a needle in a haystack. This little
Mhm.
island from when they set sail in Cuba. I mean, sometimes under no power, and
Yeah.
they're able to make it to our shores. They ought to
yeah,
get something,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an unfortunate situation, not just in Cuba, but all over the world. There are a lot of people who are having some, financial issues as we head into what will probably be a recession early next year. So the police have said that they've arrested the first person under the new DUI Act. So remember, the limit again has been dropped. So I don't know who person number one was, but he's a West Bay man, age 38, and he was arrested on Saturday for driving erratically, and his blood alcohol level was 0.232. So I guess he would have been arrested anyway.
232.
So, yeah.
That's scary. Luckily,
That
they got
is
him off the
scary.
road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this, people come
Wow.
in and like stop.
I mean, you guys should have been in hospital, maybe. That is wow. That is a high blood alcohol content.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't need that new law to arrest that guy for sure. Keep in mind, though, and I was thinking about it too over the weekend, that when we get close to Christmas, around the holidays, they tend to have more roadblocks, etc. Because the Christmas parties actually start. They start very soon. Ours is on December 4th.
Yeah,
so it's like
it is soon. That's right.
I know, it's like
Jeez.
It's like in 6 weeks.
Oh,
So
yeah,
right around the corner.
Absolutely. Regulators are fielding questions and concerns about Cayman First. So CMR broke this story yesterday. Not quite sure what's going to happen here, but there appears to be quite a number of complaints as it relates to non-payment of claims. So physicians are being owed millions of dollars for non-payment of claims through Cayman First Health Insurance, and other vendors are also saying that they have concerns, and some staff are saying that they've not been paid. And so there's a lot going on there. We're going to try to unpack some of it this morning on the show, but it just seems, uber crazy. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, catch Sandy's show coming up right now on Bobo 89.1 FM, and we'll see you tomorrow for Wednesday headlines. Deep breath, Sandy. Deep breath.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, my dear. Take care. Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and play our intro song, and then we will get this show on the road this beautiful Tuesday morning.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
How are you guys doing today? Happy Tuesday. So, one quick message here. Oh my gosh, folks, there are times that I gotta tell you the truth. You have no idea what is involved in doing this job. I'm trying not to talk about a situation, but the parties who don't want you to talk about it are the ones who are causing more drama about the situation than anything else. And people don't seem to understand the job that you have to do. And Caymanians, there comes a certain point in time when our level of understanding of certain things in the broader context of the world really makes me wonder. I mean, I have to I'm often left dumbfounded And you, you just got to take a breather. It is just unbelievable sometimes what people do. And their lack of understanding makes them do certain things that's even, it's just, trust me when I tell you that sometimes this country, I want to say that we need collective prayer, but part of me doesn't believe that that's going to do any good. You know, I don't even know how to say this, but our level of just the way in which we operate is something special. Honest to God. Wow. I guess if you're already listening to the show this morning, you probably have an idea of what I'm talking about. You saw the logical question from Blake this morning about why the police recanted or pulled back a statement about who the victim was in last week's fatality. If you ever listen to this show, you will know. Good morning, everyone. You will know that I've talked about this before, and I have said, sometimes the more you try to do something about a bit of news that's out there, the more you make it news. You guys have heard me talk about something called the Barbara Streisand effect. And it's really a simple theory. It's called the Barbara Streisand effect because she did something. There was some story that had come out about her, and someone had taken a photo of her residence, I think it was. And she decided to sue this company for breach of privacy or whatever it was because I guess she thought she could win. Well, she didn't win, as I recall. And what she ended up doing was, because it was like one or two people had picked up the original story, when she filed the lawsuit, it becomes a much bigger story. Because everybody's like, oh, Barbara Streisand is suing about this picture. Oh, now let's go look at the picture. Oh, the picture was of her residence. Ooh, look, everybody. This is what Barbara Streisand's house looks like. It is a very basic principle. In the world of media. Don't call attention to what you are trying to subdue. Does that make sense? And so, unfortunately, despite me having zero desire and zero intent to talk about this retraction by the police, if I don't talk about it, am I not even doing my duty now to you all? Because you all know we have a very simple formula here on this show. We operate by honesty and truthfulness, and that's it. So the statement is up on the police website. If I don't talk about it, you guys are going to be like, this is weird. You know, why would I not talk about it? And explain why the police had to do a retraction naming Friday's accident victim. let me do this. I'm going to pause. No, let me just get this out of the way. Because the sooner we get this out of the way, the sooner we can all hopefully move on to a better place. I cannot imagine for 1 second what it must feel like to lose a child. I know what it is to lose a sibling. Not one that I had the closest relationship with. So even that, everybody has a different and unique experience when they lose someone. And a lot of times, as you guys know, even on this program, we have to talk about people who have died violently. They're victims of crime. Yesterday morning, we had a young man who was a victim of a apparent suicide, of hanging. And it is our job to report on these matters, regardless of who they are. If it's a Caymanian, a foreign national. And by the way, to my guest, Miss Janet, I see you, and I apologize. I feel like I'm being so rude to you right now, but I do see you, and I'm going to come to you here in a second. Regardless of who the person is, everyone has someone who cares about them. Yeah? And it's so weird in life because we see people like the Queen who dies. Is the Queen's life any more valuable than the pauper who just died in East End, who barely has anyone in his life, who has to go to NAU to borrow money to bury him? A life is a life is a life. But to the people who have lost, I suppose there's different degrees of loss. And there's some people who feel like there are some lives that are more valuable than others. This is the world that we live in. Your value is based on your stature in life. It's not a sad indictment, but that's the real world. People die every single day of hunger, starvation, cancer, AIDS, all sorts of diseases, COVID. And we don't know their names. We don't even think twice about how many people died today around the world until one day it's somebody that we love. But regardless of that, this is a small community. And I understand the impact of death, especially when it's a Cayman in this community. And I tell you guys this all the time. I say once someone has died in this community, if it's a Caymanian, I normally know within minutes, if it's a tragic situation, who the person is. The longer it takes for me to find out who the person is, I can guarantee you the person's not a Caymanian. On Friday morning, as I sat here, and I'm going to have to, unfortunately, now address some of this, despite the fact that I really don't want to. On Friday morning, as you guys know, we found out early on in the show about this tragic accident. Of course, I knew who the person was. And at no point, even on my social media posts announcing the initial accident, or during the morning show, or even up to yesterday, you just heard Blake saying that I was not going to name who the individual was until we got the police report. Because I'm very conscious, because again, this is Cayman, I'm getting all the behind the scenes information, that the family is extremely sensitive about her being named. So I said, fine. Over the weekend, I reached out through a third party to say, by Monday, the police are going to name her. Would you like to say anything? Provide any information? There's some families who will now send us the death announcement. Or, they'll confirm information ahead of publication of the person's name. And then other families don't. They wish to have a bit more privacy. And you respect everybody is going to deal with a situation in their own way. And trust me when I tell you, the media has no intentions of trying to make that grieving process any more difficult for anybody. Sometimes what we will do is, in advance of the police making their identification, we will pre-write the story. It's just a time saving. It's just logistics. Yeah. So based on the response that I received over the weekend, I said, okay, well, we just wait until the police have identified her. So we did that. Yesterday afternoon, the police identified her. CNS put up the story first. I don't know who else put up the story, but probably within an hour and a half of that, we put up the story. Trying to be as respectful as possible. Yeah. And despite my best efforts to just leave it at that, right? I know that the police commissioner was called, the deputy governor was called, the governor was called about she's not been formally ID'd. And I don't even know what that means. So then within a few hours last night, the police sent a retraction to their identification. I have never seen the police do that. Even before I was involved in the news business, I've never seen the police retract a press statement about someone who has been identified as the person in a situation. So that happened. And I said, okay, even though that has happened, let me just leave it alone. Kevin said he put it in the story in the news lineup last night. I said to Kevin late last night, 11:30 at night, we're messaging. And I said, Kevin, because I'm really just trying to be cool here. You understand what I'm saying? I said, Kevin, please pull it out of the morning news that we're going to play this morning. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to address this. It's bizarre. It's weird. I don't know what's going on here, but let's just leave it alone. Our story is not coming down. She's been named. We did it after the police issued a statement. What are we to do now? Tell me, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done before this morning? Go issue another statement saying the police are unnaming her? It's like, what the hell? You can't undo a situation. We waited until the police named her. And there's sometimes, in a lot of cases, that we don't do that because we know exactly who the person is. There's no mystery. And despite that, I had zero intentions of talking about this morning. Then I get up this morning and I see, of all people in the world, who has the audacity to message me foolishness but William McKeever Bush about this situation. That as a Caymanian, I should know better, and speculation, and I'm being disrespectful. This man doesn't know the definition of disrespectful. He needs to look in the mirror, is what he needs to do. How am I being disrespectful? Have y'all read the story? This young lady had a beautiful life. It's a beyond tragic situation. She was a person that had a blog, put her life experiences out there. As it relates to, her career, she said she wanted to help people. She wanted to guide people with what she was able to accomplish and just share her life experiences. So it's so weird now that in death, there's all of this, we're going to shroud this in mystery. We don't want people talking about it. We don't want it reported who she is. I find it bizarre and weird. But you know what? Everybody grieves differently. That's why I wasn't going to have this conversation. I'm only being forced to have this conversation this morning because McKeever gonna be messaging me foolishness, calling me that I'm disrespectful as a Caymanian. Sir, You're talking about I grew up here, I'm a Caymanian. Yes, I'm a Caymanian. I actually largely grew up in the States, but let me say this. I am sure you are more than aware that if I was trying to be disrespectful to anyone, it would be very, very obvious. And I'm not trying to be. And I don't wish to be disrespectful to you or anybody else, certainly not on this platform. And a lot of times, even privately, but I have to wonder, why are you messaging me foolishness this morning? Why are you trying to take a dig at me in a situation that is normal? When people die who are public individuals, there is a degree of everyone in the community feeling the loss. Whether you're politically public, you're politically exposed, you're a leader in the church, you're a school teacher. If you're known, especially in a small community like this, people are going to grieve your loss. People are going to talk about it publicly. And the families have to share their grieving process as much as they don't want to. They have to share their grieving process with other people. And I understand that they are entitled to privately grieve. So it is difficult when all of you guys are showing up to their homes and that sort of thing for them to grieve. But isn't that what Caymanians do? You come over, you bring a cake, you bring, that's how we deal with our grief. This isn't New York where your neighbor dies and you don't even know their name, nor do you care. I don't know. I honestly do not know what this is really all about. And I don't know why Mac found it necessary to message me this morning about this situation and say that I am being disrespectful because after a police report, I simply named her and tried to make the rest of the story as glorious as possible in terms of all of the wonderful things that she accomplished in her 29 years. There are people who are like, this is weird. Are they trying to say that it's not her, that it's somebody else? And who else would it be? All you're doing is bringing unnecessary attention, which you say you do not want, to the situation. So the police have issued a retraction, folks, saying that they prematurely named her. It doesn't say that it's wrong. It just simply says that they're apologizing for a premature identification. I don't even know what that means. Is there something else that they're waiting on to be able to positively identify her? Is there some doubt about who it is? They said the RCIPS wishes to clarify that the identity of the victim of the fatal collision, which occurred on Friday, the 21st of October in East End, has not yet been formally established. As such, no confirmation of the identity of the victim should have been released by the RCIPS. The Commissioner of Police sincerely apologizes for the error made in prematurely identifying the victim and for the distress the publication has understandably caused to the grieving family. The previously issued media release has been removed from the RCIPS website and social media pages. Formal identification will progress as speedily as possible in consultation with the family. So by Friday, they'll reissue it, and that will help how? I'm not understanding it. I don't want to belabor this situation. But like I said, after receiving these messages this morning from none other than the former speaker, I felt it necessary to just clear the air a little smidgen. It's unfortunate. And I don't always understand. So he says to me, there are people who want and deserve privacy. How is this invading anybody's privacy? Only God knows. If the family doesn't want names and photos all over the place, can't we as Caymanians respect that? I certainly do. What are you talking about? Names and photos all over the place. What on earth are you talking about? We live in an era, as this young lady did, where you put your life out there. In the sphere of social media, she had a website, a blog, where she would take photos of her exam papers, where she would talk about, everything that she was doing in her life. So even in death, people be like, oh my gosh, this young lady, what an amazing, wonderful young lady has just passed away. I struggle to understand what's really going on here. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get into it anymore. What I will say is the police issued a statement identifying her. After the commissioner, the deputy governor, and the governor received phone calls, the statement was retracted, and I just read you what the new statement says. Let's move on. We certainly express our condolences to this family. Our condolences to the family of the young man who died yesterday morning as well, who, by the way, whose name we already have, and who we will put up and name him later today, give you all the details, and that's it. Where he worked, et cetera, et cetera. It's 2022, folks. Let's take a quick break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to speak with Jeanette from the Breast Cancer Foundation.
The Fall Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The Labor Force Survey collects data on employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households in all districts. The interviewers will exercise appropriate COVID-19 protocols using personal protective equipment. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the Statistics Act. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
Crichton Properties is one of Cayman's most trusted real estate companies for over 50 years. We offer a diverse selection of property listings and help our clients navigate the world of buying or selling their properties with confidence. Crichton is a name you can trust with our excellent customer service and family-friendly touch. Contact us today to list your home, land, or condo for sale by calling 949-5250 or email info@crichtonproperties.com. Crichton Properties, a trusted Cereba member.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Today is Tuesday, and as you guys know, normally on Tuesdays, we have Health City that is here with us. Now, Health City is generous enough to offer their space on different occasions to a number of nonprofit organizations here in the Cayman Islands. As you guys know, I think it was last week, yes, we had Jasmine on, and someone saw that and they're like, oh my gosh, that was an amazing interview, Jasmine. There's so many wonderful nonprofits on this island that do a fantastic job, and they really go, they do so much more than any of us can possibly imagine. And so we did have someone for the Breast Cancer Foundation that reached out, and they said, how do we get on the show? And so I mentioned it to Health City, and as usual, they stepped up to the plate, and they said they were more than happy to provide another NPO a spot to come on and talk about what it is that they do. Now, you guys will know that the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it's super important that we as men and women in this community learn as much about, this particular disease and cancers in general, so that we can know what screening tests are available, what we need to do. Unfortunately, people will be diagnosed with these diseases throughout their lives. I was speaking to someone recently, speaking of privacy and how people think, there's still people who, once they get diagnosed, they try to hide it from family members, they try to hide it from people in the community. But honestly, these things are nothing that you should feel any way about. The community is here to support you, right? And organizations are here to also offer you a degree of support as much as they can. And what a wonderful guest I have joining me this morning. Miss Jeanette, good morning. How are you?
Morning. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. So good to see you. I know that you and I have spoken in the past, and I think then COVID hit, and I feel like it's been a minute, which it has been. But I'm so glad that you're here today. So tell us a little bit this morning about your organization. And like I said, this month continues to obviously be Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we want people to know where they can get screening, what organizations are out there to provide them with support in many, many different ways. So tell us a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're based in Grand Harbour.
Yes.
So anybody can walk in or call us and come and see us at any time.
Mm-hmm.
We have a website which is full of really, really good information. It's not just for people who are diagnosed with breast cancer, it's people who are worried about breast cancer. And you probably know that things like mammograms, they're not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I know Health City doing a fantastic offer for the whole of October, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
We work all year round. So when you have your insurance policy, the wellness part of your policy, which is your GP's visits or your dentist,
Mm-hmm.
opticians, anything like that, that covers that. It's tiny.
Right.
So almost always will never cover for a mammogram. And we've known ladies who've had to choose what they're doing. So for us here at the foundation, you don't choose. Just come to us because we can assist with the mammogram voucher. Not just mammograms, but ultrasounds and whatever else you need. Because the whole point is to get checked and make sure that everything is good. And there's never, we have a whole ream of services here, and there's no charge for any of them. We work with the hospitals, Health City being one of them. We got a great rate for the mammogram vouchers we buy from them, ultrasounds as well. But that actual program, the last 12 months, I'd say the cost to us has doubled, which is a good thing in some respects, which means more people are taking the initiative and coming to get the vouchers. Because in the past, it was a bury your head in the sand, or a million other excuses why you wouldn't get yourself checked out. But breast cancer is probably the highest recorded cancer. Well, it is the highest recorded cancer here in Cayman that we know of. So it's here, and it's just.
Yeah. And it doesn't make any sense to pretend that these things don't exist or to ignore them. We have to take whatever measures we can to, quite frankly, give ourselves a fighting chance. And early detection saves lives. I mean, there's no two ways about that. So, getting your regular mammogram exams, doing your breast self-examinations, all of these things are extremely important.
They are. And because we have a lot of younger women that we're helping and have helped over the last decade, each time I talk to every one of those, I talk to them independently, but they all say the same thing. If you're worried, if you know your own body and you know that something's not right, do not be dismissed because of your age. Do not take, oh, don't worry, you're too young, don't be worried about that. You go to the next doctor. And if you have to go to a third doctor, you do that too. You come to us, and that's part of what we do. We advocate for women and men to make sure that they get seen, because until you've got to the bottom of it, till you've had all the tests, you don't know. You don't know. And obviously for a younger person, the breast cancers tend to be more aggressive. So the key is we've got to get that found if there's something to find, and get on with starting the treatment.
Right. Wow. So I came and sat down with you. Gosh, I can't even remember when it was, but it was before COVID. I'm sure of that. And I said to you, you know, that one of the things here at CMR that we wanted to start doing was interviews like this, where we really just educated the public about NPOs and the wonderful jobs that you guys are doing. And I came and I sat down with you, and remind me of the other young lady that was there in the office at the time. Pam, yes. And I was really surprised at all of the things that you guys do. Everything from having a room with
prosthetics,
those prosthetics,
yeah,
and doing proper fittings for those, and trying to, you know, after a cancer diagnosis, after surgery, there's so many things that people go through and they feel, whether it's about the loss of the hair, the loss of a breast or two breasts, or, you know, and to have a service on island, and the only place on island where you can go and get fitted for a bra implant is what I'm going to call it, because for the bra, not for yourself, but you know what I mean, a prosthetist, as you say, and have, you know, a nice, cozy, feminine room where you can sit down and do that and have a cup of tea and whatever, you know, support, grief support. It's just, I was so, as you can remember, I got very emotional and I just started crying at your location, because I felt like, number one, I was just overwhelmed by everything that you guys do, which I think is amazing. But also, I think as a woman, we all know that at some point in our life, breast cancer is going to be something that touch us, whether it's ourselves or people that we know and family members that we love. So I have a sister who had breast cancer. You know, I have a mother who had breast cancer. And so it was a lot. And I just want to thank you really for the amazing services that you provide. Can you tell us a little bit about the, and I still want to, by the way, come and have the videographer take some footage. I think people need to see it for themselves. I think it's so amazing in the little tiny space that you have there, what you've been able to do. But tell us a little bit about the prosthesis and how people can come in and get some assistance with that specifically.
Yeah, I mean, that again, it's just a case of giving us a call, and we try to keep people coming in at different times just for privacy. A lot of people are quite prefer to be private, but the room is obviously, as you know, is very private. It is the only one in the Caribbean to exist, and we keep it fully stocked. When the lady came over from the US to do the training with us, she did say to me to measure someone and then send for the items, and then 2 weeks later come back and fit them is just so not the best way to do this. You have to bear in mind, when someone comes in to see us, it's not that long after surgery usually.
Yes.
That we have 2 mirrors there. We're doing the fitting. That could be the very first time that they've actually taken a look at themselves, their new body, what it looks like now. And it's hard. There are tears. I have to say, when we're doing the fitting, that happens so often. But what I can tell you is, once someone is fitted, they've got the bras to go with them, they have the prosthetics. Don't forget, we also do the swimsuits, the specialized swim prosthetics. So, you know, people, be happy when they go swimming or on the beach. We do the gym wear because obviously we encourage and pay for the yoga and other kind of exercise to get someone back as fit as possible after they've been through their treatments.
Yes.
But I see all the time women, and we're talking of all ages, from in their 20s, 30s up to 70s, come in here, Sandra, with round shoulders, head down, and walk into that room. And then an hour later, come out a different person, a completely different person. Shoulders are back, smiles on the face. It is one of the best parts of being here, because we see that all the time. And so we know it's a prosthetic, but it makes a massive difference.
Yes.
And we're really, really proud of that room. That's the whole point that we moved to where we are now, so that we can have that room. I was on a mission at the time
Mhm.
That was key to get that room.
It's amazing, really. And it's all of these little things, as you say, that can really help a person in the entire recovery process, because there's the physical part of it. So there's the surgery, and maybe you need chemo or radiation, and you have to go through those things. But the mental part is probably, I would think, the most challenging part of any trauma that you go through, any recovery process. It's really trying to get back where you can feel good about yourself, where you can feel, feminine again. You can put on your outfits without, wondering if they look right, and if people are going to be looking at you and wondering, why your breasts look a particular way. So, I mean, I think that that's amazing, and more women are sharing. I've got a girlfriend who wears them, and has for many, many years since her diagnosis, which happened, like quite a long time ago. She's been in recovery. And I didn't even know until she mentioned it to me. I mean, they're natural fitting. I never even thought about it. I knew she was a cancer survivor, but I didn't think, well, did she have reconstructive surgery, or is she wearing prosthetics? Like, it just didn't occur to me. And then one day she kind of mentioned it, saying that there's certain bras that do fit better with them than others. And so that's a consideration when she's bra shopping and that sort of thing. And I think it's important, Miss Jeanette, to normalize these things as well. Like, there's nothing wrong with, having breast cancer. Like, a lot of women will have to go down that road. There's nothing wrong with choosing not to have reconstructive surgery if you prefer to wear a prosthesis. There's nothing wrong with having a moment where you just break down and start crying in the middle of nowhere, because these things are very difficult to deal with, and they're very, very traumatic. Now, you guys offer support groups as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the support groups?
We do. We do. We are very fortunate that Harquell, the studio theatre, does allow us to use that place when we're having our large support groups.
Right.
So we'll have a speaker, and it's informative. But, all the attendees can obviously ask their own questions, have a private chat with the speaker if they need to. But that's for the bigger groups. But here, well, you've seen it. We have our sofas. It's set up like a living room, because it on purpose to ensure that whoever comes in, they feel comfortable. That it's not an office environment. We never wanted that. But we can have quite comfortably and not overcrowded 10 people. Similar age, similar type of cancer. We can pick the groups so that everybody comes. No one feels overawed. No one feels that they can't speak. And of course, the diagnoses can be 2, 3, 4 years apart. And that's a good thing, because you have someone who's sat there who's just about to start their whole treatment, or just going through their treatment. And then you have a lady sat next to them, same cancer, similar age, who's out the other side. So to get those people together, it's invaluable, to be honest. We have lots of other support systems. Like some of our ladies will say, anybody, who's going through this, tell them to call me. Let's meet for coffee. We'll meet privately. So there's all that side going on as well. So we have the big groups, the smaller, more intimate groups. We have a lady called Tina, who's our counsellor, psychologist. She's awesome and they can see her here at a small group, at a big group, or individually. She'll come to their home. It's really, we try to, look after everybody for what that person actually needs. Some people don't want to be in a group. They may be eventually, but not at first. They're still in shock. Don't forget as well, Sandra, we try and work with the whole family. Too many partnerships, husband, wife, that go their separate ways when something drastic like this happens. And we're very aware of that, and we offer help right the way down the line. Our speaker at the gala this year was brought for that particular purpose,
right?
Because he's got a pretty tough guy image. He advocates, men, you're going through this. You're trying to keep the whole family together, as well as the trauma of seeing your wife go through what she's going through.
Right.
You need help too. please come to us because you can help, and it doesn't have to be public. It can be completely private. Tina's met someone before outside on a bench, had a coffee and a chat in a cafe. She is happy wherever they feel comfortable meeting them for a talk and to help. Because the last thing we need, patient needs, they need that support, they need that family support. They do not need the additional trauma of a partner who's becoming more distant or children who are traumatized by what's happening to mummy. So we have to be there to help the whole family.
Right. Wow. And of course, men can also be diagnosed with breast cancer as well.
They can.
So I'm sure that from a psychological perspective, that has a whole different, it's just different because men are treated different in our society or communities, and we expect different things from them. We don't always expect them to be vulnerable and to be in need. But, when you're diagnosed with something like this, number one, I'm sure there's a general shock that comes with it because a lot of men don't expect to ever have to personally have a diagnosis of breast cancer, but it does happen. And like you said earlier as well, the importance of listening to your body applies just not to women, but men also, because a lot of them will know they feel a lump or they feel something that's a bit unusual. They'll know when something is potentially a bit off because, they're not going for the annual mammogram. So I would guess that most of the diagnoses for men probably come from them making some general observations about their own bodies.
They're one of the first gentlemen that I met that had, he'd already had his surgeries when I met him. He, I remember him sitting and saying, Jeanette, he said, I thought it was a mosquito bite. He said, and I'd had it for some time, but I genuinely thought it was a mosquito bite. It just wasn't going away. And he always says that somebody up there was looking after him because he went away on vacation to Florida with his wife. The guy works full time, never seen a daytime TV program in his life, but by a complete fluke, ended up sitting in a waiting area with his wife whilst they're on holiday, and Dr. Oz was on talking about male breast cancer.
Wow.
And he recognized what he was saying as what was happening to him. So
my
he came
gosh.
straight back, booked his appointment with his doctor. And I have to say, he had double mastectomy. 20 years later, he's doing fabulously.
Wow.
But who knows, had he not taken
the vacation even?
Yeah. He's doing great. Most of the guys that we met, the ones that have taken that step to look after themselves, realize there's something wrong, have been treated and are all doing fantastic. We've had one gentleman that did pass away, an older gentleman. But on the whole, it's about men noticing something's wrong because it's easier for them to see when there's something wrong and actually getting to the doctors. Yeah. So yes, it is rarer, and the only reason that more men die than they should is because they ignore the changes that they see and don't do anything about it.
Yeah. And of course, because they have less breast tissue, I would think that, as you said, it's just easier for them to see that, what's this little lump? What is this? We do have some comments that are coming in, folks. Don't be shy. 936-BOBO is a telephone number. I think it's important for these NPOs to know what a wonderful job it is that they're doing. So we have a comment that has come in. This person says, good morning, Sandy. Sorry, the breast cancer NPO has an amazing Light Up the Night event in March of every year. So of course, we know that as a nonprofit, you rely on public donors, you rely on volunteers, a lot of volunteerism to really ensure that your organization can run the way in which it does. So tell us about some of your events, your annual events that are very, very important fundraising events.
Yeah, the Light Up the Night, the first Saturday in March. That's when you think that started at 13 years ago. I think and I actually took part in that. I wasn't working with the foundation then. I think we had less than 100 walkers, and I do remember that RCIPS had to be there to show us across the road because we weren't actually on the beach. We went onto the beach at some point. But then to have grown to well over 1,000 as it is now, we did ditch the balloons for the recyclable, the buttons that we can keep reusing each year, just to make it a little bit more eco-friendly. But the site, that's all about raising awareness, and the early detection saves lives, and that's our whole motto for that event. But it is a lovely, truly, it's one of my favourites to see everybody walking down the beach. 1,000+ people walking from Public Beach to the Ritz and back. It's all the condo complexes put their lights on. Everybody comes out to cheer. It is actually, that's one of my favourite. Obviously, in the gala, which we've just had, that is our main fundraiser for the year. That's at the Ritz-Carlton. That's again always the first Saturday in October. It's a huge gala, but we need it to be, because most of our money will come from that.
Right.
And we have over 360 people that have signed up with us now over the last 8 years. So, and that's at least two new persons every single week, Sandra, every single week. And that's newly diagnosed. That is not counting the screening programs that we run, the year round, the awareness programs, the training programs that we do for the medical professionals in the hospitals, buying equipment for the hospitals, all of that, just the hands-on with those patients is our main expense.
Oh, wow. And of course, there is a Cayman Islands Cancer Registry as well. Do you encourage people who come to you to ensure that they sign up for that cancer registry? And if so, why?
Do. Yeah, as you know, it's a voluntary thing at the moment, which we're trying to get changed. But yeah, we don't just ask them to fill the form in. We explain what it's about. You know, this is yes, you've got cancer. Now, this is about the future of the island, the future of your children. Yes. We need these figures. We need to have some research and to see what is happening. Breast cancer is the most reported cancer, and I hope that we've got a lot to do with that. The fact that we do explain the anonymity that there is once you fill that form in, your name goes nowhere else. The type of breast cancer does, where you live, age, things like that go, but you are not identified. So that was a worry. I think people thought their privacy was going to be invaded, or the name was going to be bandied about, but that definitely does not happen. So, but until we get those figures, official figures, then there is no research going to happen.
And there's so much really that that information can do, even in terms of providing different resources for cancers, to really have a good fix on who's getting cancers, how it's impacting people, the age spread. A lot of communities can be very different because of even just sometimes being Caribbean people or ethnic people, or, they're just some geographical locations. Once scientists get in there, start to research people, they'll find a bit of an anomaly happening as it relates to who's getting sick and what types of illnesses that they're actually getting. And it then helps with, where governments need to be focusing their efforts, where education needs to be, where additional resources can be put as well. So that's really, really important. So tell us a little bit about your event this year. I know that it just happened. Who was your guest speaker?
Vinnie Jones. He was a footballer turned actor. Really, really interesting guy. I read his books. So obviously he was coming here pre-COVID. So, and I talked to him a lot, and I did feel like I'd got to know him. But what a difference from what I would envision, having 3 brothers, obviously football fans. So I knew of him. I knew his reputation as a footballer. I also knew the type of films that he does, which I'm sure are absolutely wonderful. That is not I like a good Hallmark movie, to be honest. But I know a lot of people love his films, and I have seen a couple, and he was really good in them. But he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy with a very tough image. And even though I knew the other side of him, a lot of people at the gala did not. So when he talked about Tanya, his late wife, there wasn't hardly a dry eye in the place. It was very, very moving. That, along with we had Andy Croft as well, who's a local guy, talking about his wife Tori and her battles, her recent battles, and again, tears everywhere. And Kim Lund, my director, started the night off with talking about his late wife Brenda, and again, we had a fun night. Believe me, we did. It wasn't all tears, but for those 3 guys looking at
Mhm.
breast cancer from the men's perspective, from the supports, you know, from being the husbands,
Mhm.
it was very moving. It was very moving, and emphasized, I hope, that it is not less manly or anything like that to come to us for help, because we are here to help and we want to help. And by helping the husband, we're then helping the wife too,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just having a look back at our correspondence. You actually sent me the last newsletter that you did. This was back in April of 2021. So of course we were just, I think, starting to maybe come out of, not really fully come out of COVID yet, but we're getting back to a degree of normalcy a little bit during some parts of last year. But this is the first time that you've had a pre-COVID gala, or did you
We-
have one last year?
Yes. Yeah, we did not have one at all.
You did
No.
not have one last year. Okay.
No, we did have, and we had a small event at the Grand Ole House, the pink Christmas party, which was actually, it was a lot of fun. And so the public demand, we're doing that again in the 26th of November. And all these details are on our website.
Right.
We're doing, that's again, that night is specifically for the prosthetics and the bra room. That is because obviously the costs have soared for that. They're probably going to be over 30,000 this year. So that night is for that. So we've also, you know, other people, the community, I think it's been hard times all over.
Yes.
But so many people have done different events for us, you know, F45 and the girls here. Can I just say that my team, Pam, Eleanor and Marina, are actually doing the marathon. And they're going to be looking for sponsors for that, because that's obviously for us as well. So that's, not only are they working so hard here, they're going to do that for us as well.
Wow.
The Bird have got an event tomorrow night. They have raised almost 40,000 for us over the last couple of years. So they're expecting a great night tomorrow night. So for us, by the way, if anybody wants to come here tonight, just by coincidence, tonight, 4 till 7, we have an open day here at the foundation at Grand Harbour, where anybody is welcome. Come in, ask questions, meet the team, you know, find out what we're about. If they need things like the mammogram vouchers, they just need to come in and talk to us. We're here for them, and we'll help in any way, shape that we can.
Beautiful. And do you have, like, if people want to get added to mailing lists, do you have a mailing list that people can, you know, get your newsletter and additional information?
The newsletter yes, I need to send you, there's a new one just being created right now with all the up-to-date information on. That's info@bcfcayman.com. So we can add them to that. We can also, you know, they'll get notices about everything that's going on. And obviously they've got that contact to me, because that email comes directly to me. If they want to talk in confidence about themselves and anything that they're worried about.
Right. And I'm glad that you mentioned, Jeanette, the fact that, you know, as the world that we're in right now is seeing inflationary prices with everything, that also impacts you. And it also impacts, you know, the things that you need to be able to get and provide, you know, to your clients, the prostheses and everything else. Those things go up in price, and there's probably been supply chain demand issues as well. So thank you so much for just continuing to offer that wonderful service to different people in the community. And, you know, I've met some amazing people who will provide, you know, they might be professional masseuse or hairstylists or whatever. And, you know, they will work with the Breast Cancer Foundation and provide such services to women who are, you know, going through this transition, if you will, this difficult time. So thanks to all of those individuals as well.
Yeah.
Ms. Jeanette, is there anything else that you'd like us to know about your organization or any events? We know that October isn't quite over yet. There's still
the Pink Christmas Party is our next fundraiser. Bear in mind that's for the room. But you know, there's all sorts of different things. A marathon definitely be awesome if the girls, this is their first year ever.
Yes.
We have, and don't forget, 2 of my staff have had babies not too long ago.
Yes, Pam has a little one.
So you know, this is a big deal. There's a lot of effort for them. You know, we have of the places around the community that have raised money and are raising money for us over the time, like the Birds and the Hurleys and Fosters. You know, you can give money at the till, at the cash out, all of this month. Every single dollar helps us. Every single dollar. So, you know, if you get the chance, even a dollar can really truly make a difference because it all adds up.
Someone is asking if you have any contact information for the cancer registry. So how can someone?
Yeah, I do. Again, they can contact me. I can send the forms and put them in touch with Amanda.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. All right, folks. And again, you know, I get it. I know that we live in a small community and maybe some of us have been raised to, you know, feel like we have to hide these things, but there's nothing to be ashamed about. The Cancer Foundation and others are here to support you. And the registry is going to play a really, really important role, I feel like, in the information that I'm just sending someone your email address as well. The information that will be available, you know, to the community. And like I said, you know, knowledge is power, and those things will dictate future policies, even health policies and so on. So there's Jeanette's email address. It's Jeanette@bcfcayman.com. And you can contact her directly, and she'll be happy to, you know, provide you with additional information. The website, breastcancerfoundation.ky as well. Yeah. Beautiful.
All right.
Jeanette, anything else before
that's it. Thank you. Thank you for having us on, and thank Health City for allowing us to be on.
Yes.
They came on as 5-year platinum sponsors for the gala this year. So
beautiful.
They've committed to the next for a whole 5 years in total.
Wow, that's beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, my dear.
No, thank you.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you. Come and see us.
I will. I'll come back and see you soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
See you soon.
All righty. So folks, this month continues to be a busy month for all of the individuals who are involved as NPOs, you know, breast cancer awareness in general. They do a fabulous job. Please reach out to the Cayman Islands Breast Cancer Foundation. You just never know. And they again, just like Jasmine was saying last year, they are an NPO, so they often need volunteers. They need donors. If you are a person who has a little bit of time, and maybe you can man, you know, the office at times, you can help them send out letters and correspondence. And, you know, there's always something that you can do to make somebody else's life just a little bit better. Miss Dana says, Sandy, your ability to move from the frustrations of political strife into an empathetic, loving frame of mind is admirable. Keep the faith. Your heart speaks its truth. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Good morning to Cayman Detailing. Sometimes it's difficult to mentally switch from like one thing to the next. Because, you know, at the end of the day, folks, we're all human beings. And sometimes you get stuck in a place where you're like, I'm not done with this conversation. I need to keep having it. And I'm like, no, Sandy, just try to gracefully move on, honey gel. Sip let me show you my waffle monkey cup. I love this little cup. This is so cute. I love monkeys. There's something about the whole primate family that reminds me of us. So, you know, my topic this morning was going to be about Cayman First, and it is going to be about Cayman First because we need to dissect what's going on over there. And I just saw that they did send a statement early this morning after a story came out. And so now we will read their statement in conjunction with, obviously it's going to be done in real time this morning because they literally sent it at 6:28 this morning. So we'll see what they had to say. Let me just say this. As it relates to stories on, you know, our website, I have a lawyer. She says she tells her clients all the time because sometimes they're like, oh, Sandy did a story on me and I'm all upset about it. Oh, yeah, she said I got arrested. And it's like, okay. She believes in the Barbara Streisand theory, although she doesn't necessarily call it that. And she's like, trust me, sir or madam, thief or whatever it is you're here for. you're going to get your 15 minutes of people talking about you until the next story goes up, until the next person is arrested or the next person is sentenced. And then Sandy's going to report on that like she does and everybody. And then people move on and they talk about something else. Because, they'd be telling their lawyers, oh, call Sandy. And she's like, take my advice. Don't call Sandy. Don't email Sandy. If she's gotten something wrong, these lawyers know they can reach out to me and I'm more than happy to correct it. So imagine my surprise, speaking of this, when yesterday morning I got a letter from these lawyers overseas. I think these people, they've actually written me before about another article and another couple. Remember the COVID breaches from that Canadian couple? The husband is a dentist and they've been all over the place. Child, they did everything in their power to get that story taken down. And when people have money or position, they believe, quite erroneously, I should say, that the same laws do not apply to them. Well, I guess they believe it because that's how it's been for them. They go through life, they go in a restaurant, they get that special table in the restaurant. They, get to send kids to special private schools, Uber schools. And, I guess life has taught them that, yes, indeed, there are different rules for different people. And let's be honest, I think we can all accept that. If you're in the millionaire club, you're not the same as somebody who's in the billionaire club. And you're not the same as someone who is in the poor people club versus people who are in the middle class club. So everybody gets treated a little bit differently because of your status in life, right? You're not born into royalty. Well, you're not going to normally be getting the royal treatment. Let me show y'all something. People are so different in how they operate, right? Y'all are not going to believe me if I don't show this to you. Okay? At this time, in real time, I have someone messaging me. I'm going to just share this message with you all to show you how incredibly different people are. Every situation is so different. I have someone all the way from the Philippines who's messaging me as we speak, related to the gentleman who died yesterday, unfortunately, by suicide. Let me show y'all. I don't make this stuff up. This is real life. Here's the message. Blessed day. Can I ask any update from Mr. Danilo Manilag? I'm his family here in the Philippines, and we want to bring him back to the Philippines. Or can we ask if you can help us? We have not. And then they put the news report that they're referring to. Notice that we haven't even named this man yet. People halfway around the world are reaching out to us, asking for any updates and information. Let that sink in for a minute in light of what we were talking about earlier. And let's continue to move on. This, thank you so much, Michael. It was important to share that because I wanted to make the point of how everybody reacts differently once they've lost a loved one. And we appreciate you reaching out. As I mentioned to you, I'm actually on air, like live right now. So we will message you after the show and see how best we can assist and how best we can help you. But thank you for reaching out. I wanted to make the point that the police haven't named your loved one. We haven't named your loved one, and you reached out and we're happy to say who it is. We actually know, we knew the name from yesterday, because the Filipino community is a very close-knit community here in the Cayman Islands. And within an hour or so of this tragic incident, I had his photos of him and his name and everything else. And we're going to talk about, Michael, what I think can be done to assist your loved one as well. So let me show you all this latest letter. These people claim to be lawyers, but they're more like reputational damage control people is what they do. So they like to send these letters. It's called a courtesy request. So what this is these lawyers will email you when you've written a story about their client and it shows up on Google. This is all this is about. And again, you know, I work in the space of media. I know everybody wants to think that they're the media experts, that they're the ones who can run a CMR, that they know what's going on. And by the way, Michael, my sincere condolences. I don't know how you related to this young man, but my sincere condolences for your loss as well. Any loss of a loved one is tragic, really. So these people will send this courtesy letter, right? The reason why they call it a courtesy letter is because they are very much aware of the fact that there's nothing that they can do legally. In other words, your story was accurate at the time, certainly that it was written. And now they're trying to go back and clean up the Google search engine results on their client. I haven't even looked at the story. I don't even know who the story is, but some guy named Mark Graham, whoever he is. So these people claim they say that they're business attorneys and international advisors, protecting business and family assets. So they have an estate planning aspect, business law, international, and whatever. And it seems like part of what they actually do is they try to clean up people's online reputation. So you go Google yourself, what's the first thing that shows up? So this is an article, listen to this madness, from 2018. I guess somebody's Googling this man's name and our article is still showing up. So they have now contacted us claiming that there is additional information that they wish to share. But here's the catch. Here's where it gets interesting. The additional information is not for the purposes of updating the story. Right? Isn't this bizarre? Here what they say is, while we support free speech rights, you know, when somebody says that to you, the next bit of the statement coming is going to be an example of how they actually don't support free speech rights, because they're trying to interfere with the publication of a absolutely legitimate and fine letter or story. We do have some concerns about the content contained in this URL, specifically additional facts and or context of which you may be unaware would change. Now, somebody in this law firm, where's Soka? Is Soka in the house? Because she would be sending him a letter. Please proofread. But they say would change the nature of the story or result in potential inaccuracies. Furthermore, there are ongoing negative impacts as a result of the above URL and the ease with which it is discoverable via simple internet search engines. That's the real story here. Let's be very clear. That is what this is all about. This has nothing to do with inaccuracies, potential inaccuracy. Honey child, it's either inaccurate or it's not. What do you mean by potential inaccuracies? You're a law firm that's writing me a letter about a potential inaccuracy. Either something is inaccurate or it's not. And if it was inaccurate, it wouldn't be this type of what they call a courtesy request, where they're asking you to essentially take it down. It would be we're going to sue you because your story is wrong. And that's not what this is. the same wording was used in the previous letter that they sent with the dentist and his wife. Again, these millionaire wannabe people believe that they have a totally different set of rules, but not in CMR. You don't. They tried to pay us money to take down our story. And you know what is so funny? I was curious. I said to myself, Sandy, let's find out what you're worth. They weren't going to, I said, we don't want your money. That's bribery. We don't want your money. Oh, we'll pay it to nonprofit organization in the Cayman Islands. I'm like, okay, let's see what our nonprofit or we here in the Cayman Islands are worth to these individuals. I said, all right, how much money would you like to donate? Just playing the game, right? $1,000 US, honey child. Whatever I had in my mouth that morning, I don't know if it was ackee, if it was a what do you call it now? A patty and a Pepsi. I don't know what I was eating that morning, but child, it dropped out of my mouth. I was like, are you people stupid or are you stupid? $1,000 US is no money to nobody in the Cayman Islands. That's your donation to nonprofit. For me to supposedly take a story down, which you claim is having such an immense impact on your life. You people are a bunch of cheap bastards. I was like, please. I said, no, we don't take stories down. But I was curious as to what you thought it was worth. It's only worth $1,000 to you. Keep marching. Go take several seats. And that's what they do. They'll send this courtesy letter first. Oh, gosh. Here's some annoying person about sex info. Let's block them right now on our YouTube channel. I don't know why all the spammers come from YouTube. Anyway, they claim that they're happy to provide details related to the above. However, due to the sensitive nature of some information, we are only able to do so if you agree to keep any information disclosed strictly off the record. Then what is the point? Because I said to them, well, if you want to update the story, then send the information. They come back with email this morning. Oh, but you have to agree not to share it. I said, with all due respect, tell me what is the point? Why are you sharing it with me if it's not to update a potential inaccuracy? Because that has nothing to do with it. This is a game that these people play. Now, I don't know what kind of nonsense they're going to be sending me, because the last time with that couple, they sent stuff that didn't even make any sense. It had nothing to do with the story. These people are just a bunch of... I'm like, really? I said, what's the point? The story is not coming down. If you had something truly that was inaccurate in the story, you would just send the correction. And what media does, this is how media works around the world, you simply correct it and you move on. Hear what they say. It is no secret that the internet and technology have made it so that even the most mundane of items live forever. This obviously can have lasting impacts on the subjects of such articles. Therefore, we would like to request that the article in question be removed from your website. Alternatively, we're open to compromise arrangement, such as de-indexing the article, or perhaps removing our Mark Graham name from the article. Once again, the Barbara Streisand effect, because you think I remember this article from 2018? I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. So then I went back and looked at the article myself. What is this all about? Cayman reinsurers named in alleged fraud? Financial advisors in Bermuda and the Bahamas and 7 insurers and investment funds in the Cayman Islands have been accused of perpetrating $135 million fraud against an insurer in the United States. Anything that would have happened in relation to this should be a matter of updating the court information. Has something changed here? The captive insurance members were identified. The source of this, by the way, is Offshore Alert. And Offshore Alert is very, very familiar with getting these types of letters. And a lot of times, you know what Offshore Alert does? I really tell you what, Offshore Alert has some balls, because you know what they do? Every time someone sends them a legal letter, oh, cease and desist, remove our client's information off your website, blah, blah, blah. They take the letter from the lawyers and Offshore Alert posts it on their website. Ooh, they are cheeky. This is what real media does. They're not removing something because your name is in it. They don't care about your feelings. This is the real world, folks. So all the time when I go in Offshore Alert, I chuckle, because on a regular basis, let me show you guys their website in case you've never gone to Offshore Alert. They have all the cases here in the Cayman Islands and all over the different jurisdictions. And here you go. They will show you everything. All the people writing to them. Oh, cease and desist letter. Take this down, child. They just post the letter right up. Here it is. Here's one. Remove complaint against my firm, writes Andres. What's his name? Shiza? I don't know. So a letter from him requesting the removal from Offshore Alert website of a complaint against his law firm, or his firm, Loris Global Investments, LLC, because I'm trying to keep my personal business off of the internet for anyone to see. Oh my God. This is the email, October 24th, 2022 at 7:25 p.m. That was yesterday, right? Yeah. So he is saying, please remove the following page from your website at your earliest convenience, as I'm trying to keep my personal business off of the internet for anyone to see. I have provided the link here. And the link is about, let's see if we can find the original. Oh, yeah. So complaint alleging negligence and breach of fiduciary duty regarding a 292-room hotel and resort in Vail, Colorado, known as Vail Cascade. And then they tell you the name of the, what is it? Qual Ethica Vail Inc. of Delaware. You know, Delaware got more fake companies than Cayman. And of course, Cayman gonna be in the mix. K Ethica 3 EF LLC of the Cayman Islands, and Loris Global Investments LLC at the Supreme Court at the state of California. Cayman is always in the friggin' mix. So once again, this is a post from 2 years ago, January of 2020, over 2 years ago. And this is an actual lawsuit. And he talking about his personal business. This is not your personal business. How can this be your personal business? People do not appear to understand that there's a lot of things that fall out of the realm of your personal business when it comes to public interest. If it ends up in court and it happens in court, it is no longer your personal business. The court list here in the Cayman Islands and elsewhere around the world is available publicly. And in fact, in the United States of America, it was a Cayman limited liability company, child, one of the plaintiffs. In the United States of America, I can assure you that these documents are readily available. A lot of instances, you don't even have to pay for them. It's only here in Cayman that we're so antiquated and ass backwards that you gotta get a special compensation, a dispensation letter, my apologies, from the governor, signed by the queen herself, or now the king himself, in order to see a document that should be publicly available. Nowhere else in the world does this happen. This gentleman over at Offshore Alert, Marchant, or whatever his name is, every time they send him these lawyer letters and these email requests, all he does is post it up on the website. I don't even know if he bothers to respond to them. Seriously, it's just absolutely ridiculous. right? People have an obligation to know. Here's another crypto group being sued for $7.1 million. You don't think that you have a right to know? What is in the public domain? What do you have a right to know? People trying to hide all kinds of stuff. Yeah. You beat people up and you go to court, but yet you want to wear the Miss Cayman title. Oh, that's my personal business. We don't want to talk about that publicly. That has nothing to do with the title. Really? When you have elected yourself to be in the public space, whether that means because you are a politician, because you are a teacher at a school, and then you want to have the OnlyFans page that Johan is begging for. He said he wants to create one for himself, apparently. It's these types of things that put you in the public eye, and it's nowhere different all over the world. You'd be reported on in every other jurisdiction, and Cayman is no different, folks. So I don't know what this so-called law firm that sent this letter intends to do, but I can tell them that I gotta start doing like offshore alert and just publish the letter because it's not coming down. We don't remove stories. The cocaine snorting vice president of whatever he was at the time over at Intertrust begged me for years to take his story down. Oh, it's impacting my family. I said, sir, every single story of cocaine snorting people would impact your family. That's why you think about it before you go and start snorting cocaine. That was May of 2018 as well. Remember him? I'm like, of course your family's impacted, but did you think about that before you got arrested? Did you make it your business to think about your family before you molested somebody's child? Before y'all go out there breaking these laws and stealing from people, now it's so embarrassing on a family. Did you think about it beforehand? I'm just curious. Because it's not now my business to think about it for you after a story is up. Yeah? That's not how this works. And so he begged in vain, but if y'all don't think money doesn't help, you have got to be kidding. They get a lot of stuff, even in the court system. Files are sealed, things are erased, things are hidden. Because they got connections and they know how to work the system with a good lawyer. So all of a sudden now, this dude, what was his name again? Ryan Schroeder, will largely have all the negative news about him scrubbed, is what they call it, from the internet. And you little poor Joe Schmo Caymanian now with a drug record because you got a crack problem yourself, a cocaine addiction. Down in West Bay, nobody not scrubbing your record for you. No one is scrubbing your record to say, oh, wow, let's take your information down. Because those are the realities of life. Because you come from a different end of the tracks. You don't get the same type of treatment. Well, on this platform, you do. Because I do not care who you are. Black, white, in between, Caymanian, non-Caymanian, Jamaican, straight hair, curly hair, nose ring, tattoos, it doesn't matter. Okay? Johan says, today you, tomorrow me. Come on, people make mistakes. No, people make poor decisions. And if you make poor decisions tomorrow, then yeah, tomorrow will be your turn. And who, again, are you blaming for that? Maybe Mr. Ryan has gone to pull his life together, although after this, he was caught in the US stealing, refusing to pay a taxi bill. Y'all remember that? Right? Arrested in another incident at New York's LaGuardia Airport on July the 25th upon his return to the United States of America, where he neglected to pay his cab fare. He was arrested and charged with misdemeanor larceny and ordered to appear in their courts on August the 27th. These people do all kind of stuff in life, Johan and others. It's not a mistake. It's a deliberate choice. The difference with them is they get years of doing it before time becomes longer than rope. And the rope can run out. The bucket can fall out. Perla says, R. Kelly, keep it on the down low. No, sir. This is what I'm talking about. Sexual predators like the likes of R. Kelly just because of who he was. And, I'm particularly aggrieved when we try to defend people because of their skin color. Oh, but they're a black man. So they're, people are out to get them. Listen to me very, very clear this morning before we move on to Cayman First. If people were trying to get him because he was a black man, he should know that from day one, right? And he should know to toe the line. But no, honey child. You know what he knew because of enablers and money and fame and power? That he had those things at his disposal, unlike the average black man. And so he thought he was invincible. He thought he could pay off everybody until the money started to run dry. So he did pay people off. You think R. Kelly wasn't guilty 20 years ago of having sex with a minor and urinating on her? You are crazy. The man did it, and it was on videotape. The jurors saw the videotape with their own two eyes, and he still managed to walk out of the courthouse a free man. Now y'all want to talk about, because he's black. This not got nothing to do with it. He paid off the victim and her family. And because they couldn't make a positive identification that it was her, without her saying, yes, that's me, they were unable to say, this is an underage child because it's this young lady sitting right here. And he walked away. And he continued his reign of terror for decades more. Sexually abusing people, kidnapping women, literally, holding them against their will, treating them like literal dogs, making them wear dog collars, and all sorts of ridiculousness. But guess what? Time longer than rope. This man gonna spend the rest of his life locked up in a prison now. Because you can do what you want, but not for as long as you want. One day, there always is a price to pay when you're doing wrong. Bill Cosby, same thing. Nobody not going after Bill Cosby because he's a black man. He's a friggin' predator. And he's gotten away with it for 50-something years as a black man in America because of who he was. So don't be sending me your stupid letters about possible inaccuracies. I don't give a damn. If you were in the truth-telling business, you would just say what the supposed inaccuracy is. And we would fix it and move on. That ain't got nothing to do with the price of rice in China. This is all about, good sir, your name's still showing up in Google search engines. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go Google his name right now. What is it? His name is Mark Graham. He trying to probably swindle somebody else out of more finances. And so when they Google him now to see what's going on, all of a sudden, They're like, oh, there's that CMR article and the offshore alert article. Let's see what we can do to remove it. You ain't removing it. The dentist couple, they even tried going to our website hosting company, lodging a fraudulent complaint against us. They tried everything in their power to get the story taken down. Yeah, Google their name. You'll see that story and others about their behavior in Canada is still up. These people have a sense of entitlement that they believe money can get them out of anything. Connections and fame and power can get them out of anything. And it's absolutely disgusting is what it is. Yeah. So Marshall says the people around R. Kelly were his enablers, and people who just, not only were they his enablers in that sense, but they were out there procuring the girls for him. This is what people do. You think it's entertaining or funny to hear Miss Cayman, who clearly has some serious issues, say in her interview on an international front that there are people around her, her supporters, and the Miss Cayman people who are protecting her, and they don't bring this information to her? Honey child, that is not protecting you. They are setting you up. Because when that judge, where my gavel is today, when she hit that gavel and say guilty as charged, poor you living in denial is going to be so friggin' shocked. And the rest of the committee going to be shocked. And at that point, they need to be sacked. It's not amusing or funny to see people spiraling downward in life. Look at Kanye West. What a man he is throwing his entire life away because he refuses to get help for his mental health issues. Adidas just dropped him. The news came down this morning, huh? He's had 2 talent agencies drop him. Vogue said they're not gonna deal with him no more. What's the other one? Balenciaga, not gonna deal with him anymore. Who else? Oh my God, everybody is running from this man because of what he's doing, his anti-Semitic comment. Not because he has a mental health issues, because the man goes out there with hate speech that is ridiculous. Now, when we posted it on CMR, I had to chuckle to myself because a couple of y'all told me, oh, it's because he's a black man. I said, oh, Jesus Christ. Forgive me there, Lord, but please, can you slap these people with the Bible? Because he's a black man, this man is a millionaire. He can't relate to you. Try and hush. Half the time, Kanye West don't even know that he's black. This is a man, Adidas. Did I say Adidas? They finally dropped him. Yes, this is a man, folks, who has told black people, y'all need to listen to what he said in the past, that we're the reason we agreed to slavery and slavery wasn't that bad. And now you're going to try and play the black man card on his behalf? Talking about he's a black man and they're trying to destroy another black man. No, nobody not destroying him. He's destroying himself. Yay. Ain't got no sense. He has a problem. I actually feel sorry for Kim Kardashian for putting up with him and his foolishness all these years. You don't know what people going through in their household. That man could not be easy to live with. A billionaire, you know? And he is going to throw, oh, thank you. Debbie says, let's get a kaboom on that one. Now he's about to throw everything away. This is not going to end well for him because he's not a person who was designed to be poor at this stage in his life. He believed he can pick up, Netflix is dropping a documentary that they had already completed. I think it was Netflix or somebody. Some parent company, CBS and one of them, they're going to drop the documentary on him. This is a man that's so full of himself that he needed all these partnerships. He needed all this attention. He goes and gets a grill made of diamonds and gold that says Balenciaga on it. The man is so out there. He's so eccentric. He can't live a normal life. And when you're that eccentric, honey child, you need $1 billion in the bank because that's the only way people can be talking to you as a black man. Y'all want the truth? Olive wants the phone number. She say, gonna go back to your bed, dying with laughter. This phone number, if you want to call in, 936-BOBO, 2626. This is the kind of foolishness that's going on. Shaquille says Kanye West for president. Lord Jesus, I hope Americans not that stupid. Let's talk about Cayman First. Something's going on at Cayman First, y'all, and it's a lot of a hot mess. I tell you. Well, all I can tell you is if they don't get it together, it's not looking good. Let's break it down. There are providers out there that Cayman First owe a lot of money to. Why they're not paying it? Well, y'all gonna have to let me know. Life is so weird and ironic. I get a phone call saying, Sandy, something's going on at Cayman First. And I'm like, really? Yes, honey child, look into this and that. Right yesterday evening, I got another phone call. They're like, Miss Sandra, I'm surprised that you haven't heard the situation. And I said, what? 3 people, 2 people, and one day calling me about the same thing, just very randomly? Something going on. Here's what we know. One provider, being a medical facility, has some $3 million in outstanding claims that allegedly Cayman First has not yet paid. They have not paying claims for months. This don't look good now, you know. They claim they got this AM Best rating and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know who the hell AM Best is. But I wonder if they recognize that they're not paying their local claims. That's a rating system, by the way. I do know a little bit about AM Best. I'm just saying. They might not know the best. This is very, very alarming. How can you be, in case y'all missed the story, let me give you the link. How can you be an insurance company and people are making claims and you are not paying said claims, especially when the law says, Section 9 of the Health Insurance Regulations 2017 revision says that you have 30 days to pay. Registered medical practitioner submits a claim or any other documents required, and there's no dispute. You should be paying no later than 30 working days after the claim. And if you're not doing so, then obviously you are in breach of the law. The only question now is what is going to happen as a result of that breach? Who is going to do anything about it? Is it the responsibility of the Health Insurance Commission? Is it the responsibility of the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority who license these people to say you better pull up your bootstraps and get your business in order? This is serious, you know. Listen to me. $3 million on the streets is a lot of money, no matter what kind of business you in. Got me to thinking, oh my God, $3 million in unpaid insurance claims? That could mean that that institution isn't able to pay staff. They might be having to rely on an overdraft facility because they got over $3 million owed to them on the streets. Yeah. That could mean that new equipment isn't going to be ordered. Life-saving medical equipment. Who knows? It's like, what on earth? This is shocking. Now, Y'all know we talk to people. So we made some phone calls. And I've spoken to some providers and they're like, yeah, well, they've been having growing pains for a minute now. And we've been trying to be very, very patient with them. So this might be the longest that they've gone with no payments. But there's been an issue for the past about year or so. Payment issues, What we heard is supposedly they have a new claims processing system and a new client portal that they decided to drop at the same time at less than a month's worth of testing, of real world stress testing. At one point, Cayman First stopped taking policies. They weren't taking on any new clients, definitely for health insurance. I don't think they could stop for the SHIC program because that's mandated by law. But like group policies and stuff, they could not even take on new clients. I'm just like, what is this? The month of October, a good number of their clients have not even been invoiced. Their own clients, because of the screw up in the system, have not been invoiced for the month. Now, remember, you're supposed to make your insurance payments the first of the month, huh? Today is now the 25th. They've not even sent you an invoice yet. And there's a lot of companies that are like, well, if we don't get an invoice, we're not paying it. You got to send us an invoice. You need to be organized. This is what's happening. Okay. Staff. They're hemorrhaging staff. 3-4 people leaving a month if they can find a new job. They sick of the stress. They sick of the low pay. They're like, we're done. This is it. We're out the door. Others are being fired. They escorted one woman about 2 weeks ago, escorted her straight out the door, fired her immediately, escorted her right out the front door, honey child. Yes. A young lady who worked there for 33 years was terminated. Made redundant, whatever fancy words they want to use to justify the slackness. What do they tell her? Oh, we are going in a different direction. You're an insurance company. How many damn directions can you go? What different direction would that be? Because remember now, with the rules of redundancy, you make the position redundant, not the individual. She was the operations manager. How can you run a company like Cayman First without an operations manager? What direction are you going exactly? The direction of self-destruction? What direction is this? Please do tell. It don't make no sense. I'm confused. Another young lady, I call them young, but if you've been with a company for over 35 years, you're probably seasoned, well seasoned. 35 years, she picks up and went to Cineco. Apparently, they've lost a number of people to Cineco because, Cineco, the government insurance company, is going to be expanding their services. Well, these people are so sick and tired of Cayman First after 35 years. They said, oh, honey child, we're getting up and out of here. And we're going to go use our knowledge and expertise to help Cineco with their new lines of insurance business, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just like, wow. Now, this is a hot mess. Marshall says the direction is straight to hell. I mean, I'm wondering. Working conditions are so poor. Several employees have left and have not been compensated. They've not gotten their final payout, left after 15 years with the company, and they're not paying them. Customer service manager has resigned. Somebody said to me that they recently had a retreat for management in Miami. I said, I wonder what the purpose of that retreat was exactly, because clearly they got some serious HR issues. Their parent company is out of the Bahamas, so they were taken over. They used to be oh God, what were they called before they became Cayman First? And then this Bahamas First and Bahamas whatever is who has taken them over. So Mr. Roger Balkasoon is the managing director. Jonathan Wells was appointed recently. These are executive appointments as technical manager. Aniki, I'm not sure, I can never quite remember how she pronounces her name. Hill is formerly Brown, is now vice president of group insurance services. So we contacted them yesterday. This is again, it is what media does. You contact for comment. Cayman General, thank you so much, Debbie. And like I said, I see in the email at 6 something this morning that we now have a response to our queries. So let us read the response in real time. Folks, I've not vetted this message before. I don't know what it says. All I know is we're about to read it together. Give me 1 second now to pull it up. And then that was insurance law. Let me see where the letter is. Yes, and then we can read this. Yeah. All right, now let me see. So this is Mr. Balkasoon, managing director, has issued a statement. Let's pull the statement up for everybody to read. Everybody present in class, raise your hands. Let's read it together. It's so weird because he hasn't really addressed it to us as a letter per se. He just says statement. It's a bit strange. Anyway, at least we got a statement. Something to be said for that. Here we go. Cayman First committed to employees, clients, community, and business partners. Cayman First. Oh, this is one of those messages. Okay. Cayman First has proudly served the Cayman Islands for the past 40 years, and throughout this time, our company has grown with the community. We have provided career opportunities and training in a wide range of specialized fields, actively invested in Caymanian education and excellence, and worked to support the Cayman economy by delivering essential property and health insurance protection to businesses and families across our islands. We are grateful for the knowledge and service dedicated to our company by long-serving employees over the years and continue to advance our people as we welcome new leaders to our team. Recently, we made a significant investment in system upgrades that will allow us to continue to enhance our ability to offer exceptional claims to our clients and to deliver the high level of service that the Cayman public demands and deserves. We have been in continual communication with our stakeholders, including policyholders. Have you really? Okay. Business partners and service providers to resolve any issues that arise as we implement our new system. Cayman First maintains an A- excellent AM best rating as an insurance provider to the Cayman market and remains a committed community-based employer. We look forward to serving the needs of the community now and in the future. Wow. Well, that was not worth the piece of paper that he put it on. That certainly didn't address any of my specific questions. Okay. This is the health insurance regulations. I was up at midnight reading last night. You got a PR person over there at Cayman First? Because if they helped you with that, please put them on the termination block. What was the point of that letter, that statement, sir? You didn't answer my questions. A provider is owed over $3 million, and you're talking about everything is hunky-dory and you got your A- excellent rating? This is when I feel like that little rabbit now when you go, what's up, doc? What's up, doc? This don't make no sense. Well, let's hear what people are saying because the article got people to talking. Woo! Here you know. HR and training manager at Cayman First have resigned now too. This is hot off the press. Came in at 9:20 a.m. They've gone to Walker's. Supervisor of the Savannah branch has resigned now and head of the financial comptroller. Oh, but we've got an AM Best rating. And so we're all good. We're committed to our Caymanian staff. So we're all good. Okay, if you say so. Once again, people believe in living in denial in this community, and we're here to tell you the cold hard truth, honey child. Mr. Kassoon, what's your last name again? Ron Kassoon? What did I just tell y'all it was? Hold on. Roger Balkassoon, sorry. From Trinidad. They like their Kassoon names, huh? Good sir, you got a problem with staff, and you got a problem with paying your claims. Here's what another person said. Good morning. It's about time. When I said I'm working on a story, they said, oh my God, it is about time. Thank you, Sandy. Now, you know how y'all be waiting for somebody else to tell me this. So sometimes you got to step up to the plate and just tell me your damn self. When people say it's about time, that means you wanted me to know this a long time ago, but nobody wasn't telling me. I can't do no digging if y'all not telling me what's going on. So here this person says, good morning. It's about time. Not only are they not paying their claims, the staff are leaving left and right due to poor management. We were bought out by Bahamas First Group in the Bahamas some years ago. Since then, they have steadily been tearing down our company, hiring expats through their Bahamas HR, and then strategically pushing out locals who've been with the company since its beginning as Cayman General. Last month, they forced out a manager who'd been there for over 32 years, calling it a business decision. There have been those there have been about 18 people who have left within the last year. And you're going to write a statement about y'all committed to this and that, and you committed to locals. Okay. You only got to staff about 50 people. If you lose 18 of the 50, that's almost half. Something is wrong within your organization, good sir. And as managing director, you need to step up to the plate. Including the HR manager, customer care manager, customer service supervisor, SVP of the company, and many more higher up. They're doing this thing now where they try to manufacture dirt on older staff so they can let them go without having to pay them. It's a real mess in that place, and all the regulatory bodies need to look into them. Staff are overworked because they place a freeze on hiring and underpaid as they have the lowest starting salary in the industry. Oh, Jesus, Jehovah. They have only now started to try and hire when staff started quitting on them. As for the board that sits in the Bahamas, I've been told that 2 of the board members were previously known to have been in such problems as it relates to another board that they sat on in terms of irregular financial transactions. Oh, yeah? Maybe you can investigate this further because there are, this further because they are big wigs for the company. Ooh la la. What are you saying? I tell you, boy. Now, this is a thing. Another commenter. Everybody coming at the woodwork side this morning. Yes, honey child. Wowee. No, sir. Let me just. Ay. Unbelievable. There's more. Hold on now. Fasten your seatbelt, folks. Good morning. Cayman First went from being one of the most respected, reliable insurance companies to now being a joke. I knew something was going on with them. No response from anyone. I wish I had a list of their customers so I could go after them. As for McKeeva and the police, oh God, let's just leave that situation alone. BS using all these excuses. Something else is going on much bigger. I received so many complaints from clients complaining, making me look bad. Oh, Potential. A lot of people are left very incompetent. JA, former claims manager. JA, All right, folks. The comments keep coming in. Another person says, remember, Cayman General had to help bail out the government claims after Ivan. They didn't have enough money to pay all the government claims, so they offered them a stake in Cayman General as compensation. Oh, remember Cayman General had to help bail out the government? Or would the government bail out Cayman? I'm not sure. They didn't have enough money to pay all the government claims, so they offered them a. So are you saying now that government has a stake in Cayman First? Or that was done away with Cayman General when that was sold or whatever to Cayman First? How does that work? Okay. This person says, I foresee a second bailout or takeover by government. Well, government listen, government not in the business of bailing people out, you know. Cayman First says this person, lots of people have health insurance with them and awaiting approval for their permits to be granted. And unfortunately, the people permits have been deferred or refused. So does that mean that they are not approving these policies? Oh, honey child. No, the person says CI government bailed out Cayman General. Oh, okay. All right. I was getting a little bit confused there by that comment. No, sir. Well, I mean, this is quite the hot mess of a situation. That's what I know. And the response, the non-response, I should say, is more telling than anything else. The fact that you appear a little bit clueless. My questions were very, very direct, I thought. And you didn't exactly do a good job answering it, Mr. MD. Okay, let's read your comments. Good morning. Debbie says Yi is bipolar. Yay. I keep saying his name. His new legal name is Ye. Ye is bipolar, won't take his meds. He's a car wreck. Yes, he is, and he does need his medication. And he needs time away from social media, from the public. He needs to go to like a facility where they take your phone away and they just make you sit in the corner. You do a kumbaya moment. You do yoga. You eat a nice, healthy breakfast. You get a massage. You go see your therapist in the afternoon and you cry and you talk about all your problems. He needs an intense program at the moment. Marshall says he's a loose cannon all to himself and self-destruction is bad. It has nothing to do with his skin color, pure madness. Ms. Julia says it's not just Cayman First, Pan American, been sitting in a claim for me since March. Who are these Pan American people? There's so many people here in the insurance industry. I don't even know who these people are. Who's Pan American? I mean, I've heard the name, but any idea why they haven't paid your claim? Are they disputing it? Because if they haven't disputed it according to the law, they have 30 days to pay it. Anthony, good morning. Anthony says, Jesus, restrain thyself and thy Bible against yea. Don't listen to thy servant, Sandra. Oh, Lord. Jonathan, touche. He has a good point about Kanye. He says, are you sure about that? Have you seen his latest fashion line? You say he's a man that isn't used to being poor. I know. High fashion, it looks like it came out of the garbage bin. Miss Andrea says insurance on the island is a ripoff and Cayman First is the worst. My boyfriend has been trying to get them to pay for his dental treatment. No answer. They wouldn't answer the call from Smiles Dental. Oh, geez, some peace. Well, apparently, Andrea, they're not answering the call because the staff is busy packing up their bags and leaving and resigning. There was a nurse. Here's another story. There was a nurse that had a big blowout with one of the new managers, big shouting match. And honey child, she immediately left, walked off the job, took a couple days to cool down, and then came back later on and tendered her 30-day resignation. It's crazy. I tell you. It is crazy. Crazy for you. Yes, sir. This is where you can hear some foolishness. Mismanagement, can really sink a company. And I hope for the sake of the staff that they have left, that they can get it together. Because your staff don't feel appreciated. Your staff are saying that you don't care anything about them, despite what you might think. You see, there's a disconnect a lot of times between management and everybody else. Management thinks, oh, this is one thing. People are so happy. People are this. We're investing in our staff. Meanwhile, your staff is actually saying that you're horrible, that you're not paying them enough, the lowest in the industry, they say. And every opportunity they get, they are leaving. Wow. And if they're not leaving, then I guess the other bunch is getting fired. And when somebody leaves and they've given you 5, 10, 15 years of service, and then you don't even want to pay them. You know what I heard they were doing with these people? That, I guess a lot of the staff might have policies with Cayman First, which would make logical sense. They were actually saying to them, a lot of these insurance companies, it's true of vehicular insurance, property insurance, you can do a payment plan. So say, for example, you have a property insurance. They'll give you like 10 months out of the 12, divided up into 10 equal payments, right? Whatever your premium amount is. Because most people don't have $10,000, $20,000 one lick to just drop on your house insurance. And y'all know that going up. After what just happened in Florida, get ready, buckle up. Your next policy is going to go up. So their staff have these policies with them that they're paying monthly. They turn around and tell staff, well, we're going to go ahead and deduct the rest of your policy from whatever we would have owed you. So say you were in month number 2 of the 10-month payment option. And I said, but hold on a second. That can't be right. That's not a lawful deduction under the labor law. Y'all need to call DLP. What are they called? Department of Labor and Pensions, DLP. Give them a call because that cannot be right. Because that payment plan isn't a benefit of you working with them. That is something they offer all policyholders. If you have a policy with them for property insurance, you can pay over 10 equal payments. Same thing with your car insurance. If your car insurance premium is over a certain amount, they allow you to do it over 3-4 payments. You can break it up. This is common practice in the insurance industry. So I'm like, hold on a second. Someone works for you and they're taking advantage of that option, which is available to all of your customers. When they leave your employment, you're going to say, oh, well, we're going to just deduct the rest of the $9,000 or whatever your policy amount is because you've resigned with our company? That can't be right. And then they tell them, well, there's no more money. We don't owe you any money after that. Y'all better go to DLP and line up and start filing reports over that too. And not just SEMA and the Health Insurance Commission that needs to be getting a report. Shannon says, Cayman First gave me a quotation to cover my lung disease of $2,000 a month. And when I asked would they cover a lung transplant, they said no. Wow. I would have been out of my mind to pay $2,000 a month. Wait, no lung transplant coverage. You're mad. Make sure that when y'all get these policies, you know exactly what they're covering. You got to be reading the fine print, folks. That is no joke, Shannon. I'm glad you asked that question because Shannon has a life-threatening lung issue. Simone says, like, seriously? And they're so quick to lapse your insurance? Scott says you can't get no business in order if they run out of cash. Just saying. First Lady Jayanne says very messed up. Miss Olive says Cayman First, Cayman First, Cayman First, Cayman First wicked. Oh Lord, sounds like Miss Olive has had an experience or two. Jonathan says COVID has been around for a year or so, so that's why people are having a payment issue. What does COVID have to do with it? People can't really afford insurance, but this isn't about people affording insurance. It's about the insurance company not paying. Miss Isaline, good morning. Lulu's here. Present. Yes. Alicia, Olive, Marshall, everybody say they're present and they're paying attention this morning. Y'all want to hear something else? Put on your seatbelt, class. Olive says that part is false. What part? You got to be more specific. John says, why don't you call them? Because you're not going to get no more of a response than you did in that letter that you just saw right there. You think anybody answers the phone since they've been losing all this staff? I hear you can't even get anybody on the phone. Morning to Ingrid. Miss Wanda says a politician wrote it, I think. Oh, the letter? The non-response? It sounds like something a politician might do. Andrea says the SHIC plans are the worst. One visit a year for doctors, basically Cineco, is the best now. I will stay there. Really? What a hot mess. Magdalene sounds like WRC needs to be advised of this, Business Staffing Board. Somebody, listen, I'm telling you, there are multiple apparent issues here that's happening. Processing of claims and whatever, that's one issue. The staff issues, that's another situation. Damien, they're still getting permits. Well, I don't know, but the one person that they escorted out, apparently she's been here since 2019, recently got a promotion, but they brought her in from Jamaica on a work permit, of course. And the Bahamas office said, oh, to hire her, but it come to find out that she don't even know what she's doing. And so they promoted her into the new position and she couldn't really handle it. And things were really, really going from bad to worse. And of course, they're going to blame her. Marshall says, spill the tea, Sandy. Oh, yes. And this is a tactic for a lot of these companies. You know, you've been there for 33, 35 years. You might be a little bit higher up on the payment totem pole. And when they bring in new staff, Marshall says, sounds like another Fidelity Bank fiasco. They're going to start them off at pittance. Now, here, the situation. It only gets worse, quite frankly. This person says management are not communicating with staff. They don't even send all staff emails anymore because they don't want staff to talk about it. Wow. No, sir. In January of 2021, they didn't give us, being the staff, a cost of living increase, blaming COVID when we all worked from home and the company was making money as usual. In January 2021, they gave us a marginal, that must have been 2022. They gave us a marginal increase of about $90 and then increased our health insurance premiums in April. Another person says, thank you, Sandy. It's been hell in there. What's that? All right. Speaking of non-payment, I gotta pick a bone now with the Cayman Islands government. Because, you know, listen to me, when you owe people money, and, you know, small businesses in particular, and any business, when you invoice somebody, you just need your invoices paid. People ain't got time to be playing games with you about non-payment and this and that and blah, blah, blah. When you owe people money, just pay it within the time that it's due Everybody needs their money paid. Yes. There's a whole conversation, I understand, that needs to be had about the fact that the standard fees that are charged, right? So these insurance companies have this sheet, the standard fee list, whatever. Physicians, like if you're having this procedure, this is what we're going to pay. There has to be a whole conversation about why everything else in this world has gone up in the past 20 years, but that hasn't for physicians. Do you think it's fair that a physician's fee, the cost of living has gone up? CUC gone up, inflation gone up, everything in the past 20 years has gone up. But the fee structure that the government has put in place, that physicians are to be paid for different things, has not budged in 20 years, basically since it was set 20 years ago. We got to be fair to everybody. There are Caymanian doctors who are living in this community who need to survive as well and who have their own bills to pay. We're going to dig into that another day because I understand there's quite a bit of concern. And physicians, y'all out there listening to this program this morning, y'all need to step up to the plate and come and talk about it. Let the public understand what is really going on. Stop being shy. I understand government owes a 7-figure amount to one of the local COVID testing centers. Remember, they set up different COVID testing centers. Don't have me to put this story out there, CIG. Pay the people them their money. Because then when I have to put it on CMR, y'all gonna be like, oh, Sandy is blasting the government. Pay your bills. Just like everybody else. Once again, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If I can tell a Ruth Anna to please pay your helpers and pay your bills. Did you ever pay that lady at the clothing store yet? I wonder if that woman ever got her money. The woman in Newlands whose rent money shows over a year of rent, the money still owed. I tell her, pay your bills, honey child. Figure it out. Find a way. Cayman Islands government, find a way to pay your bills. It's not nice. It's not professional. When you engage somebody's services, make them expend money and put money out there buying COVID testing equipment, setting up COVID center, setting up drive-through centers, setting up this, setting up that, and then you do not pay them when it comes time to pay the bill. And trust me, everybody is very, very lenient with government because we know how the process works. Oh, can you take what it calls it, a purchase order? They have the most convoluted system in the world when it's really not necessary. And you just go along with it and you say yes. But within a reasonable amount of a time, you expect your bills to be paid. Because these people, these facilities, these doctors' offices, these hospitals, they likewise, although they're a private institution, have bills to be paid. And they can't have all this money out there being owed. Good morning, caller. Buenos dias. Wagwan. I feel like we need a call-in jingle. Hold on. This is why I should have played before you called in, the one that says no filters, honey child. Oh no, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. Well, I mean, we might. There we go. Yes, honey child. No filters allowed. You're the number one new show in the island today. Colin, my road hand. You got to Colin. You got to Colin. You got to Colin, my road hand. Join the number one community news show in the island today. The Cold Hard Truth. Please, yes, my dear child. Good morning, honey. How are you?
How are you?
Yes, my love. Right here. Same way.
I know you don't drink coffee, so I can't ask you what's in the coffee. But I heard it
I'm
this
drinking
tea.
my
Who
tea.
made that tea this morning? Who made
Lord have
Listen,
mercy.
from last night, I said I would call this morning about something. And the something is medical insurance contingency upon the fact that it's the elderly people I was calling about this morning. A lady friend of mine, over 80 years old, suffering for years, chronic pain, going to the doctor, every full and change. Finally, she found someone and a combination of medicines that gave her some relief. Not jumping up and down. She ain't doing ballet, but she could get up in the morning and, you know, get around the house.
Yes.
She sent to collect her first prescription. She got the prescription. It worked for her, not wonderfully well, but it gave her relief. Sent back for the second prescription. I think she said she had 3 prescriptions. I mean, 1, you know, and then 2 refills. She hasn't gotten refill number 1. She has not gotten refill number 2. Back to the pain level, back to the everything. Like she's going all the way back. She went to another doctor. Doctor prescribed the self at the same place, HSA. Doctor probably looked at notes as they should all do, but don't, you know, necessarily do that. Gave her the same prescription, the prescription and 2 refills. She got the first and not the 2. So I said to her, I said, well, how much does it cost? Well, it does cost over $500 because it's a combination of 3 different types of medication. But at least the woman is getting some relief for something she's been punishing with year in, year out. You know what? You know what irks me? This woman is retired, and I ain't gonna be belting all my business. This woman is retired. Who worked with government. Government, for certain circumstances, was kind enough to say, we can help you out with your insurance, as they do for many seniors and many indigent people. Now, government is, my problem with this is, the Cayman Islands government has to license all these entities. Let's sit down with a pen and a paper or a chalkboard, and here is what I need for your privilege. Tell me what you can give me out of my list right here. They call it a bucket list. This is my bucket list. Anyway, the dear lady was, you know, in hugs heaven, and then she got disappointment. She got 3 prescriptions, and she always would get the first prescription, and after that, the other 2, she never got them. The woman is suffering, and the tickler here is called Mr. Chris Saunders. Actually, she's in his area. Called the Minister of Health. I don't know what happened, but I called her when she was on your program that she said call me, and I've been calling. I've been calling before that. I would track her down on your program for the same lady. Somebody she actually is. I could mention the name to her, but I can't mention out on the air like that. So that's why I wanted to speak to her, because it's somebody who can even look at it through a different lens and say, oh, Miss So-and-so, let me see what I can do with this. At that batch of calling that I called in, I called the lady minister, I called the premier, I didn't get an answer. But when I called the lady back to say, listen, I did this and I did that, and the last person I called is your MP. She said he called me long time. From the time he got the message, he called me. So I called 3 big wigs, the biggest wigs you can get in Cayman, unless you deal with the government. And 2 didn't answer. And to be honest, I would think the premier would want to know. He don't have to talk to me because I ain't know about it. I am still who I am. You know about it. But the premier would want to know these things happening in the month of October, where we promise our seniors that this is their best month of the year, and you can't even get a reply from the persons that should reply to you, because the premier don't have to pick up the phone and call nobody. But staff in his office to do that. At least the people would know. Well, somebody heard my cry, and especially our seniors who are ill. Another long basket with the seamen situation. But you know they all get young wives. I can't get a husband, let alone a young wife, but they get young wives. And the street talk is, and I'm sure you must have heard it,
Lord.
they don't even plant them with the 3 grains of corn before the office jump in. Remember, you can't even understand what they're saying, but you know the money. You know what you don't have to understand them because you know what it is they're talking about. That's a royal mess.
Yeah, well, don't even get me started about them, because I tell you what, those old people, those old seamen are allowing these young girls. Do you know? This is just an aside.
I know that. Our government should have a policy for that.
I hope that I can get a little bit overtime this morning. I hope Chuck is listening, because child, do you know?
I know that. You know that.
They are taking on these young women who are then getting all their little seamen's benefits and everything, right? That particular listen to what I've been told. I have been told that area of government expenditure keeps going up despite the fact that we have fewer seamen that are dying. It's because these young girls coming in from Honduras mostly are end up taking these foolish old men and their Viagra parts for a ride, and by extension, they're taking the government for a ride as well. We're the ones having to pay to foot the bill. Yes, exactly. We the people have to foot the bill for this foolishness. They need to put a stop to it.
And then now the poor Caymanian women that live past a certain age, happy in their life,
taking all their pension money, everything.
But anyway, I think she did some work on that. I mean, I don't think she's in government now in Derby as a legislator, but it was a perfect go, and it was I don't think she meant it. I think Ms. Lucy, you need to say something on this, because she did that in a time when nobody paid attention to anything like that, and she did that. This Ms. Lucy tried to work on, and I do believe, I don't know the government since she left government who has tried to do anything, but something needs to be done, because of course the expenditure can continue to go up. They are departing, but they are leaving young viable lives on dependence outside of the wife.
Yeah,
because some of them
the wives come here with one bag of children too.
Mama and the children and the sister.
They need to put a stop to it. Government needs to put a stop to this situation. Stop allowing these women to take advantage of these poor old men. Like I said, they got them popping Viagra and killing them off before you know it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I know what's going on.
But I tell you, I got news out of a certain district that a certain family name begins with E and end with Y, that the people from the Philippines were actually shopping around.
Oh yeah, well, you know, a fool in his money. And so we're a bunch of fools. Apparently, the whole country has been put in that category of being easily fooled. So yes, anything is possible, my dear. I wouldn't be surprised if the Filipino government has not set up an entire division called Cayman Seamen. Here's how you take advantage of them. This is what you do. You go in there pretending to be the helper, and next thing you know, you feel him up when you're trying to wipe his bonke, and then he can get rid of the wife for 40 years, and this is how you do it. And then you're entitled to pension, insurance, and the house that he can leave behind. He's gonna write his children out of the will. And this is what is happening in the real world right here in the Cayman Islands. I'm not asking nobody.
The government.
I know people, their family members calling me all upset. And I'm like, honey child, what do you want me to do? You needed to tell this old man to not do this, that somebody was just using him. They don't care nothing about him. This isn't love. This is an arrangement.
But he not even an arrangement. It's taking advantage of that old man. Never arranged.
You know what? Unfortunately, a marriage is one of those situations you say yes, and there are consequences to saying yes. You say I do, there are consequences to saying I do.
That nobody telling these people that, you know, they don't know that.
But they telling them they still not listening. They act like they never seen woman before.
But you know, man is going to do that.
Oh, well, listen. That's why I tell the family members, I say, I can't save your family member from being stupid. I can't do that. I mean, people might think I have a lot of power, but I'm not one of them. I mean, come on now. No, sir. I tell you, it's a hot mess.
And these insurance companies getting back to them, they just breeze in the air and they breeze out. And I don't know why the government does not negotiate. And I'm not talking about PAC government now, you know. I mean, those going back, PAC come and find a business plan, and I guess they might be operating off of that because I don't see any changes. But it's not them. It is all of the governments who push and go on cocktail party, getting that rubber chicken and that cheap drink, because one time Cayman didn't used to serve cheap alcohol, but long time ago they started doing it. So I guess along with your rubber chicken, you must have gotten cheap alcohol too, because it look like they really whopped out. They can't think. But my situation here is the insurance companies that are being duly paid by the government of the Cayman Islands. They are doing what the government in this case is doing what it should do. From many administrations back. And the elderly, like I said, the widow of a seaman can't get. And she was one time a government employee. And that was a part of her little walkaway plan. That at least to say, well, you know, I got her. And she can't get one single solitary prescription for her chronic pain to the full effect that it should be. Well, I'm forgetting to say this. After the last go-away she had with them, she was so bad that she went to the doctor. And at A&E, they sent her upstairs. I think she spent 5 days in the hospital. She went home. She was home one day, and they had to bus her back in the night. The second day she would have.
We got a call from the United Kingdom. Let's see who this is, honey chow.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm listening.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Cold Hard Truth.
Hey, good evening, Sandy.
Hi there.
I know you've been you're going to need more time than today to deal with this, but one of the biggest issues that I find, and I've been speaking to other small businesses, is the problem of immigration returning refunds for work permits that has been, refused. There's people that deposit, as a small business, you know yourself, you can't really have that kind of money tied up. I was speaking to somebody that have over $5,000 or $6,000 now as a small business that has been there for over 4 years, and they cannot get back their deposit. Please, I'm asking you.
You'll be pleased to know that as I saw that message pop up on the screen, I did send that to the deputy governor, and he was shocked to hear it. But he said he will look into it. So what I will do, are you one of those people that's actually waiting on this payment?
A family member that has a small business that we were looking into it this last weekend. So if you need to reach out to me, I can get that information.
Yeah, because they might need a little bit more.
It is bad
information, but
it is bad.
It's absolutely
right now.
Ridiculous.
She's compiling all of the customers that because she runs an agency. Right. So she have to take that money out of her pocket and then pay, and then the people would reimburse her. So but it's stuck there in immigration for years, and I'm
Yeah.
not joking when I say years. It is years, Sandra. So please address this so that, you know, like everything else, times are hard and small businesses are suffering. So to have government with that money popped up there, please, okay? Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so
very
much, my
much.
dear. All right, my love. Oh my gosh, what a can of worms. Oh, sorry. What a can of worms we opened this morning about these seamen, because hear this one now. Good morning, Sandy. There's a lot of seamen marrying Filipinos too. Look at Mr. So-and-so, which got a handicapped Filipino stepchild. The problem, folks, is what can you do? It's not like the person not in their right mind. If there's some fraud being committed and these men don't know what they're doing, that would be one thing, but they know exactly what they're doing. It is atrocious. Now, hear ya. We got a couple bits of breaking news for you this morning. First of all, you know the person of interest. I hope my Jamaican people can come on tomorrow's show, because apparently there's a young lady who died. She was a social media influencer. They found her body. I think it was Friday over the weekend, because people, like I said, people send me everything. So I actually got the video footage of the body floating in the water. Can you believe it? Somebody actually sent that to me. What a sad situation. They identified her by the tattoo on her leg. Shot in the head. Beautiful young lady. And if you can believe it, her name is Anika Slickiana is her social media name. She's an influencer. They say Townsend. The man who's a person of interest who has a shady past, apparently he got away with some other murder, got found not guilty because the witness wouldn't show up in Jamaica, has now fled the jurisdiction. The man has fled Jamaica. And you know what that means? TCI, keep an eye out. Haiti, keep an eye out. Cayman, keep an eye out. Because he's probably coming here in a fast Jamaican canoe boat, paddling over time. Look ya. Person of interest has fled the country. What on earth? What a beautiful young lady. Life cut short. And he is on the run. CBC, Coast Guard, please, I'm begging y'all, be on the lookout for our borders. Those Jamaican canoe boats are not just bringing in drugs and guns and ammunition. They're bringing in people too. And a lot of the people they're bringing in are not the type of characters that we would like in this country. I'm telling y'all, the man headed somewhere. He not flee to nowhere. I don't think he can get far as America. But anyway, good morning, caller.
Well, the getting away part, the running away and paddling the canoe. If I was, I didn't finish law school and I don't know why. That would already say to me, very guilty. Even before a jury of your peers, my instructions would be so cajoled and severe that he wouldn't go in no place but to jail, like them Israelis had sentenced up for Palestinian 7 lifetimes.
Lord have mercy.
Never see the light of day again.
Oh, Jesus, peace. Here you now again. Another accident again.
And they come here all the time.
Oh, honey,
It's a fender.
No, I got another accident. Listen. All right, honey. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Some mornings are just crazy around here. Look, you know. There's a serious accident, folks, by Cayman Bay. Somehow, I don't even know how these accidents happen. I am confused at best. Somehow, this person driving I'm gonna show you all the video footage here in a second. one of these tourist majestic buses or whatever, has ended up colliding with and tumbling over. I don't know who collided with who, but anyhow, two of them collided together. A vehicle that has now managed to overturn. Ambulance is on the scene. Get it first here in Cayman Road, honey child. We have ambulance on the scene. I'm trying to get this little video footage for y'all here. And yeah, somebody else sent me another picture. Oh, Lord Jehovah. Is it just the majestic tour bus and the one vehicle? Some of these tour bus drivers, I got to tell you the truth, the other day I saw one. And he was on the phone without it being hands-free. And I actually called a family member of his because I recognize him, Caymanian. And I called his family and I said, honey child, first of all, I didn't even know he drove a bus, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I said, I see so-and-so driving, and he was clearly distracted. And you know what's so ironic? It was at this same junction, Cayman Bay. If there's a time that you want to get off of the phone and pay attention, it is a major roundabout like the one at Cayman Bay. Because that one confuses the best drivers. It has a lot of different lanes and people coming from all over the place and people trying to go this way and that way, West Bay Road. They're trying to turn like you're going towards Burger Shack. And then the other people trying to go round and roundabout and turn 2-3 different ways to get into Cayman Bay. Y'all need to pay attention on the roadway. It's too much slackness going on. And it is going on because in most instances, y'all are simply not paying attention. All right. For our online viewers, hold on a second here now. Let me show you all the pictures and stuff we got coming in, honey chill. We got video, we got pictures, we got everything. Except good drivers, because they just don't know how to drive. Lord Jesus. Avoid the area if you're in the area, please. Okay, look here. Hold on now. Okay. All right, here we go. Bobo listeners, I'm aware you're still there. Look here. Majestic Tours, and look at the poor little car. On the side, ambulance is now there. People have stopped. I'm hoping no one is seriously injured, but wow, what a mess. What a mess. You see the mess? Yes, sir. Here's the video now. A little video footage of this one. I don't know what to say. Y'all just need to learn how to drive. I mean, it sounds so simple. But now traffic is going to be backed up in this area. So the best advice I could give you, stay away from that roundabout here today. Give them a couple hours to clear the scene, and they'll be able to hopefully get it sorted out by then. Wow. We can't do no better. Everything from drunk driving to my Lord Jehovah. I don't know what to say, except we got some problems around here. One day at a time, Lord Jesus. One day at a time. Anywho, Olive. Oh, by the way, Marshall says, love don't live here anymore. It's all about you, Benjamins. How incredibly sad. And like I said, it can't be that these seamen might be up in age, but they've been around the world. They know a thing or two. You don't think that when they were going to sea, they were up to their shenanigans and paying for sex and knowing how this go? Now you must pay for it for the rest of your life and beyond, and make the country pay for it beyond your death? What a mess. That's what I think. What a real mess. I must say that it's kind kind of not really acceptable, to be honest. And I think the government might need to step in. I know family members getting cut out of their inheritance because daddy went and found him a new Filipino wife. Hot stuff. Andrea says, right now you can't even get a Jamaican man again. And them are the easiest to get, laughing out loud. Them for take them over. Now, Andrea. Really? Jamaican men in short supply? That can't be, because they'll have 3-4 wives at one time. So if they're in short supply, something definitely wrong. Amanda says that you have to wait I have about 4 payments waiting. You usually have to wait 6 months to a year. Is that the immigration one or the insurance payments? Poppy says the thing is, these old men don't care. As long as the hundos feeling up their little pee-pee and whatever, the men don't care. Ew, boy. When you do anything for money, class was never part of their life. Yeah, most of them had those Caymanian wives, child, taking care of them for all those years. And then here comes the next thing. No, sir. What are you going to do? Like I said, if they're not being defrauded in the sense that, it's a fake marriage and whatever, marriages of some degree of convenience that seem to be very acceptable in this country. Oh man, be like, listen, they be rubbing my back and rubbing my ugly feet and cooking me some good food and taking care of me. And I mean, I'm sure the wives see it as an investment. She's like, okay, he got what? If I'm lucky, 5 years left. I can hold up for 5 years to be able to get the house, the car, the lifelong pension. I'll never have to work again in my life. I'm just saying. There's a lot of women who come from nothing who think that that's a damn good deal. It's so funny though that you never really see women doing that, right? It's mostly the men. I can't think of a single woman who in her old age looking for young ting to come in and take over her pension and seamen's benefits. Although I don't think, do they female seamen? They were at home taking care of the family, you see, raising the family. Miss Sophia says, good morning. I'm the wife of a deceased seaman and can't get his ex gratia until I reach the age of 60. You might want to go speak to some of those other ladies about how they expedite the process, child. I don't know. Jonathan says, wait a second. When these seamen worked hard in those dangerous seas, they should have that privilege. Let them be happy and die in peace. Hear him now. When these men went out to sea for years at a time and had to come back to their wives with a litter of kids that wasn't theirs, I think it's just payback. Listen, Jonathan, that's not true in a lot of cases. A lot of cases, they were coming home, having children, and then leaving with no responsibility. And it was the good Caymanian wives who were here keeping the family together and raising their children to be productive members of society. Now, did some of what you say happened? Of course. I'm not saying that didn't happen either. Amanda is saying about immigration. Amanda, WhatsApp me. We got the DG on it for you. He'll get you sorted out. I don't know what's going on over immigration either, honey child, but like I said this morning, you owe people money, just pay them. Andrea says, don't go to Jungle and Everglow now because that's full of women looking for a new husband. The guy fled, heard he's in Atlanta. He made it all the way to America already? But so he got on a plane then. That wasn't no boat trip. So he had okay, hold on a second. He had an American visa. Well, how did he get into America? But you see what happened. You can't believe nobody but the Jamaican police for this. He was a person of interest and they allowed him to leave the jurisdiction. Oh, Miss Olive said he left before he was named. That's what they get for waiting. That's exactly what they get for waiting. Look at that. Well, he was smarter than them, honey child. And guess what? An innocent man don't run. That's what I know. An innocent man has no reason to run. He did it. They need to get, but Atlanta, he think America not gonna extradite him for murder as a murder suspect in Jamaica? he better think again. They'll grab him and expedite him so quickly he won't know what hit him. America not keep you. And this is not the first murder. We'll talk about this tomorrow as part of the Caribbean Connection Day, but this is not the first murder he's been mixed up in. Okay, he went by plane. Well, thank the Lord, because I would have been worried about our borders. So at least America got him good. They can deal with him. Miss Darlene. So Sandy, I thought sometimes back, Bush put a bill through for that to stop. Which Bush? Nah, nobody not stopping that. Jonathan says, I guess you never heard of Madonna, but Madonna not getting with them for their money. She's the one with the money. She's the one in the power position. She's not getting involved with nobody for pension. I'm not talking about older women dating younger men. I'm talking about older women dating or marrying younger men and the men looking to take the pension money. Madonna can have any man she wants at 65 years old, honey child, because she's still hot like that. But, you know, Tashika says, I'm trying to figure out how he got it to America, got an American visa with his record, but he wasn't ever convicted of that other case, right? Wanda says, and the good Cayman wives of the seamen saved the money and built houses. So all right, y'all tune in tomorrow. I'm going to speak to Andre to see if he can come on the show tomorrow, update us of what's happening and all that good stuff. What a mess. Someone says, I don't think that there are more than 75 to 100 seamen or actual international service left today. Yeah, there might not be, but like I said, that part of the expenditure, the budget is exponentially growing because they're getting all these new dependents that are living a long time because they're very young. Someone says the seaman Alfonso has started increasing the membership by allowing non-seamen or non-relatives of seamen to join the association. There is a possibility of negating marriages of convenience. It's called incompetence of the old men. Yeah, but if the old man tell you that he is in agreement with it and he's not incompetent, you can't negate it. If there is no fraud committed, there's nothing that you can do. And this is the point that I'm trying to make, is these old men are completely complacent and up for it. They don't mind. Someone says, tell those old sailors, them old sailors should know that Harry Bank pays no interest. I think the solution is simple. Cap the benefits for widows under a certain age. You want the bona fide widows who've been in long-term marriages protected, but the younger, mostly expat ones are living off the public purse. Now that is actually a really good idea. Or make second wives who weren't even around, right, when these men were actually seamen, to not be entitled to the benefits at all. Maybe the benefit should only be accrued and passed on to individuals who would have been there when the men were seamen, like their original children and all that kind of stuff. Y'all need to figure it out one way or the other. That's all I'm going to say. Jonathan says, Viagra and Cialis brings a whole new life to people sometimes. Well, apparently a life of stupidity, it appears to be, from what I can see. It is most unfortunate. Folks, we're going to play the news coming up now. Please be careful on the roadways again this morning. I cannot believe it. Every day there's an accident. This is the second one in the past couple days on that Cayman Bay stretch where a vehicle has completely turned over on its side. Y'all saw the one that was, when was that, Friday or something? It's only a matter of time before y'all gonna be killing yourselves right there with these overturned vehicles. Marshall says they aren't all hairy. Now, what a mess. All right, folks, be safe. Tomorrow morning is Wednesday. We'll do a Caribbean Connection Wednesday. Until then, have a fabulous day.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. An unusual spike in spending by the National Roads Authority during the pre-election period February to April 2021 could indicate an abuse of public funds, Auditor General Sue Winspear has reported. In a report on the 2021 financial audit of government departments, the Office of the Auditor General stated that approximately 11 million, or 88% of the 13 million spent during the first 4 months of 2021, was spent just before the election. At the end of 2021, the NRA had a bill of 23 million. This means over 50% of its spending for the entire year was before the elections. According to the report, there was a similar trend in the 2017 election, with the road fund revenues increasing 3 months before the elections. A delegation from the Cayman Islands government and private sector will attend the 63rd annual Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, which takes place October 26th to 30th. Teams from the Ministry and Department of Tourism, the Cayman Islands Shipping Registry, and the Cayman Islands Angling Club will work to diversify our island's domestic tourism product by marketing to high net worth individuals who attend this event. Activists against domestic violence and bullying will take to the busy streets of Georgetown on Tuesday, October 25th for the 22nd annual Silent Witness March. Beginning at 3:30 in the afternoon, demonstrators will walk in silence from the Government Administration Building and past the Central Police Station, Judicial Headquarters, and House of Parliament before arriving to Constitution Hall. This symbolic journey past each of these entities exemplifies the roles legislators, law enforcement, and the courts play in the support and protection of the victims and survivors of domestic violence. Those who attend are asked to wear purple. Cayman cycling athletes took on the best in the Caribbean in the individual time trial at the 2022 Caribbean Cycling Championships in the Dominican Republic. The riders blazed the course in blazing hot conditions, flying through 3 laps on a flat, winding 10K loop. In his first overseas competition, Kevin Conley finished 10th in the elite men's division. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:23, mainly sunny skies with a few afternoon clouds, with the temperatures at 87 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity at 68% like the forecast calls for. It will feel around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and the sun sets at 5:55. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the high 70s. Looking forward, hot days, warm nights with the possibility of brief showers. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price, and we encourage you to support them. Now for some regional and international news. A Cuban pilot flew to Florida on Friday in a stolen government aircraft and managed to sneak through a highly surveilled U.S. coastline. The pilot, identified as Ruben Martinez, flew at wavetop level before landing at Dade Corridor Training and Transition Airport in the Everglades. The pilot of the plane notified the Miami-Dade County Tower that he was low on fuel and had to land there minutes before he landed. U.S. authorities are investigating how the plane from the Soviet era was able to sneak through one of the most surveilled coastlines in the country. 3 women of an American family died in a car crash on the Iron Shore Main Road in Montego Bay, Jamaica, Saturday morning. 3 other relatives are hospitalized in critical condition. Reports are that the 6 were traveling in a vehicle when the driver of the vehicle lost control and collided with another vehicle. Apple technicians will now decline to repair iPhones that have been listed as missing on the global database GSMA device registry. If an Apple technician sees a message in their internal Mobile Genius or GSX systems indicating that the device has been reported as missing, they are instructed to decline the repair, according to an Apple memo seen by Mac Rumors. The new policy should help reduce the number of stolen iPhones brought to Apple for repair. Former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak won the race to be Britain's next Prime Minister, and he is the first British Asian to assume the role and the third leader in 7 weeks. He will take over from Liz Truss, who resigned only 44 days in office. The 42-year-old is also one of the wealthiest politicians in Westminster. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thank you for joining me. Please stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.